Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday, the 29th of April. It's 12 o'clock. Well, actually, it's 7 minutes past 12. We got started a bit late here. My name is Lawrence Hobbs.
My name is Theo Dehaney.
And this is Why Can't I Do Music Good? A show where we talk about music. Whoa! Whoa!
It's another one.
Another one!
Doing Craig David up in here.
It's your boys.
It's your boy. Respective boys.
Both me and him. Both him and me.
What up, brethren?
Hello, hello, friend of mine.
It is your alumni.
It's a show where we talk about music, making music. Why can't fucking hell? Let's try again.
It's a show where we talk about music, making music, why we're terrible musicians, and what we're doing to get better about it.
What he said.
I got you, bro.
You got me, bro. How are you, my friend? How are you?
Really good, man. Yeah, I've been really looking forward to today.
Oh, I love these shows so much. They're so cathartic. Like if you've had some, if you've had like a week where you've just had bullshit just building up on you, you're like, you know what? On Thursday, I got to tell the entire internet about that bullshit.
Yeah,
it was great. Right. And before,
for example, you've been working in a pub all week.
Exactly. Man, I've still got to look forward to that.
God.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I really just wanted to go around the garden with a bowl full of scalding hot chips, just chucking them at people, putting them down their shirts and shit.
Well, let's avoid that just to make sure that nobody uses that against you.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to tell you where I work, so that's fine.
That's all right then. That's okay. Yeah, before we went live, we were very briefly talking about how Squarespace is a stupid thing. And how it's like nobody uses websites anymore. Like you are using a website to watch this, but you're not using the Why Can't I Do Music Good website because we don't have it, because you don't go on it. You go on YouTube though, and you go on Twitch all the time.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter. And we were also talking about how did we get onto it? I can't remember how we got onto it.
What, the propellers thing?
Yeah.
So we were talking about, I was trying to come up with a metaphor. I was trying to come up with the fact that, in the 90s and the early noughties, websites all over the place. Like everyone had a website, and a website could actually be really good for you.
Most of the time, the websites was some sort of incredibly eye-burny color, and the awful font, and you'd have some sort of stock GIF that was made from like 7 frames, and it was of a guy. There was always a guy shoveling. There was always a guy shoveling. And the reason why is because you didn't have the heart to say that your website was finished yet. So you just put a guy shoveling to say, hey, it's still under construction. Whereas now we realise that a website is always under construction, and there's no reason for you to have to point that out ever.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So they were very much, they were pretty 90s.
Yep.
And then, but over time, I was saying about how it's like, when aviation first became a thing, loads of different wing designs.
Yeah.
But over time, well, we are down to one wing design basically.
Yeah, like there's different wing designs.
Biplanes and
so as far as wing designs go, we're down to 3 wing designs, and they all serve very specific functions. So you've got your flat wing, and this is airplane family nerd coming here. You got your flat wing, your straight out wing, which you would see on like little crop dusters and biplanes, and some biplanes, and like little Cessnas and little trainers and stuff like that. And that's the traditional like wing of a smuggler. Yeah, if you're going to be smuggling cocaine out of South America, and you wear the aviators, straight wings, that's the sort of plane you're thinking of, and that's simply for like stability. Like you want to just be easy to fly. It wants to be easy to fly. So that wing is a nice, stable shape, lets you fly, lets you just do the job. Then you have your swept back wing, and that enables you to go faster, but it's inherently less stable because of the way it interacts with the air currents. So it's good for going fast, and it's good for turning and doing weird acrobatic stuff, which is why a lot of fighter jets use it. But it's not as stable, so you need lots and lots of like computers and expensive equipment to keep the plane up in the air, which is which is why they're so expensive. And then the third type of wing you have is the delta wing, which is just a straight up triangle, just straight back like a cape that's got too much starch in it. And those are really, really unstable, like super unstable.
Right.
Nerd, Meg says, nerd. I'm going to tell you some funny stuff in a second. But the delta wing is like a super unstable wing shape. Can go even faster than the sweatback wing, and you know when Buzz Lightyear's like, "This isn't flying, this is falling with style."
Mm.
Those planes are just falling with a rocket on the back of it, and there are computers trying to keep it going in a straight line. Like without computers, it would just tumble.
What it relies on is orbit, basically. It relies on the Earth falling away as quickly as it's falling towards.
Yes, yeah, kind of, yeah.
So, well, to get back to the
sorry, yeah, carry on.
I mean, thanks for teaching us about wing designs.
Anytime, man. Anytime you specifically need that.
So
I'm going to mute my mic.
What we were saying is like how what you started saying, Lawrence, is how advertisers on YouTube, when they're being sponsored by Squarespace, it's the equivalent to them saying, "Hey, you ever heard of propellers? Propellers are great," and selling you a propeller while talking to you from the cockpit of a jet.
Yep. That's exactly it. It's like, exactly it.
I'm here on one of the 5 websites that most of the world uses exclusively, telling you to go and make your own tiny little website. There's a corner. You see that pixel over there in the vastness of the internet? You can have that. You can pay me, and you can have that if you want.
Makes your old jokes
come to it. Are they going to? No, they're not fucking going to.
No.
You've got propellers. We got jets.
There's very few sponsorships now that I see that I'm like, I definitely probably need that. Like the VPN sponsorships, I can kind of understand. There's just too many of them. And what are the other ones I don't like? See, I like them so little, I don't even care to remember them. So,
well, there is stuff like KiwiCo.
Was that the educational? Yeah.
Like something actually like you're right. Like one of the only things that I've seen advertised by YouTubers, not just an advert at the beginning or end of a video, advertised by YouTubers that I could actually say that's a good product. And yeah, the rest of it is massively expensive wallets that don't hold coins.
Yeah, I've got one, and I actually really like it. Like,
is it a Ridge?
It's not a Ridge. Meg
oh
got
no,
it
I've
for me.
seen yours. Yeah. So yours is just sort of like 2 bits of metal that are held together with a band.
Yeah,
right?
I think the reason why I did it is because I'm one of those people that I don't really care about cash. In fact, like to be fair, I should probably care about cash because it helps me to spend less. But it's one of these, and I don't like having a lot of stuff in my pockets, but I like having stuff in my pockets.
Well, I'm just trying to find my wallet. You've seen my wallet.
I remember you made me a wallet once, mate. You made me a wallet out of duct tape once, and it served me well for a really long time. The only downside of it was that the glue got on my cards and stopped them from working.
Well, that is something of a bummer, isn't it?
Well, it's only a little bit of a bummer. It's not the biggest bummer in the world.
Yeah, no, that was fun. I made all sorts of crap with duct tape, didn't I?
Yep.
I remember actually, I used to carry duct tape around with me.
Yeah, you did. It was one of the,
I had an
EDC. There was 3 things that you'd always, well, there was 5 things you'd always carry around with you. One was a notepad, one was a pen, one was a Rubik's Cube, one was some duct tape, and then there was your Magic the Gathering deck.
Oh yeah, I always had a deck on hand.
And I kept doing that for a really long time. After you had like stopped fucking with Magic the Gathering, I continued to fuck Magic the Gathering a little bit, or I pretended to fuck with it. Like I hadn't updated my deck in ages, but I just in case I ever got into a situation where someone's like, hey, nerd, I'm gonna, like, you know, that sort of delusion of grandeur fantasy
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have in the head of some dude being like, hey, stop messing with that old lady over there.
Yeah.
And he's like,
I
huh?
challenge you.
Who's gonna stop me? Me and my Magic the Gathering deck. Oh
Lord.
no! I have a Magic the Gathering deck too. Well, let's fight to the magic the death.
Battle it out.
Battle it out. By then, the old woman's died because Magic the
And then,
Gathering takes a fucking long
both
time.
you've both got internal monologues going on where you're like, I'm going to use my green and white life gain deck for extra.
Oh yeah.
Pokemon setup. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, but you're no match for Mythic Hydra.
Oh god. Oh, I love Magic the Gathering so much.
And as far as you're concerned, this is all going off. There's explosions and beasts fighting each other. Anybody else just sees two dudes sitting cross-legged in the pavement, like we were doing in Salisbury in the middle of the night, just sitting there, just playing Magic, going,
Yep.
ah, fuck.
Swing for 3. Fuck you.
Untap.
Oh.
I'm gonna tap that. Shit.
No, you're not.
Oh yeah, so you know that plan that I don't know about that you've got in your head. I'm gonna completely fuck that up right now. I'm gonna tap this card.
Oh, I love Magic the Gathering so much.
It's so much fun, but it's so much work, man.
Speaking of, so what was the other thing we were talking about before we were recording? Wilhelm Scream. We were talking about the Wilhelm Scream, and you were, I can't remember what you said about it. Like it's. I can't remember what you said.
It's just amazing that it is an instantly recognizable thing. Anybody who's heard it, even if they don't know that it's called the Wilhelm Scream, even if they don't know that it's a stock sound, they've heard it before. It's a unique enough scream that you hear it once and then you know it the next time you hear it. And with it being like that, I really don't get why it's still being used, because every time I hear the Wilhelm Scream, it takes me out of it. I'm like, oh, Wilhelm Scream.
I think it's almost a rite of passage at this point, where you're like, look, you've got some people screaming in this. It'll be funny if you just made one of them the Wilhelm
Just
Scream.
like two video editors sitting next to each other. Hey, mate, put the Wilhelm Scream in. I'm not going to put the Wilhelm Scream in. Dude, put the Wilhelm Scream. It'll be hilarious. Look, it'd be really quiet, just in the background.
It'd be the equivalent of it's like someone saying, hey, when this guy dies, put a Rickroll in there. What? Put a Rickroll in there. Okay. Never gonna give up. But you were saying there's like a door version as well. There's like this door creak.
Yeah. So like, So there was I remember there was like an Australian kids TV show that was on BBC when I was a kid.
Was it called Round the Twist by any chance?
No, it wasn't Round the Twist. It
Oh.
was made by like the same company. It wasn't Round the Twist. That freaked me out sometimes. This was one where they were on a ship. Like, I think they might have been like Marine rescue squad.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And they found a girl who was basically she'd lived underwater.
Yeah, I
She
know.
wasn't
what
a
you're
mermaid.
talking about. I can't remember what it's called, but I know exactly the show you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was super strong and she didn't speak very much. But I just remember one. This is pretty much the only thing I remember from this show. But it's at one point a trapdoor is opened and I hear a squeak. Right, I've heard that squeak so many fucking times. Like, this thing is like decades old, and it's just like, it's not, because it's obviously more subtle. You're not going to hear the same door creak everywhere, and even if you do, it's like, well, doors creak.
Yeah,
a door is not as unique as the human voice. But it just seems so weird that it's been at least 20 years, probably 25 years, and it's still cycling around. I mean, it's kind of crazy, and I can understand it of the door creak, but the Wilhelm Scream, I don't know. I can't be the only one who is completely removed from the situation when they hear a Wilhelm scream.
Well, it's like
When it's not put in there, for, ironically, like when it's
yeah.
not put in there just to be funny, right?
No, I understand what you're saying because you're like, oh, well, there's that scream again. Like it's you're going through a story which involves you not knowing plots and not having any connection with stuff, and then suddenly you have Wilhelm scream, and suddenly there's an immediate second of connection, of nostalgia, of other films that use this scream. Like you recognize it. So
it's like if every time somebody gets punched in a film, there's the voice of a dude I know going, "Ow." No, Craig, yes. You're not in there. I know that's not you.
That's a perfect analogy, man. That's a perfect analogy. Do you know there's a VFX sort of Wilhelm thing, and it's to do with blood splatter. There is like when people get shot, like in violent films, you'll see from the other side of them that the blood will come out the other side, and they don't use squibs anymore. They tend to use special effects. That dates me, doesn't it? I can't remember if you've ever heard. Like
I think this is one of the first conversations you and I had where it was trick photography.
Yes.
Then it was special effects, and then it was
CGI.
Well, CGI is so CGI is actually only CGI when everything is done inside the computer. So if you're adding things graphically, then that's video editing.
Oh, comping.
Comping?
I guess compositing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But yeah. So like Toy Story is CGI.
Mm-hmm.
But
Lord of the Rings.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Sorry.
But Lord of the Rings, where you have all the Oliphants and you have actors actually jumping around on big green blocks and them sticking the Wilhelm scream whenever he falls off the Oliphant. Yeah. For some reason, whenever someone says the Wilhelm scream,
you know the scream when Merry and Pippin meet Treebeard.
Yes.
Where he goes, Mary, and then he turns around and he goes, oh, imagine if that was a Wilhelm scream.
I think you could probably use the Wilhelm scream as a weapon, as an auditory weapon. But like, so get back. So there's a VFX version.
Yeah.
Which is a blood splatter, and it's a very distinct blood splatter, and it's a blood spray, and it's blood spray from 2 points. They cross over in an X. They fire and they cross over, and like some people use it as a blood splatter, some people use it as just an arterial spray, some people use it as just a fraction of like material. But in various like movies, when you see someone get shot or get punched, or you see some blood fly, inevitably one of them will be this cross. It happens all the time.
I'm just trying to find it now. Does it have a name?
I would just type in cross spray, blood cross spray. I don't know.
Oh, it's
DS in the house. How's it going, man? Yeah, going well. We're just discussing Wilhelm screams and Foley and
just general Foley that you've heard before.
yeah, that sort of thing. And we were talking about the fact that there's a blood spray that is the equivalent of the Wilhelm scream, where every single time someone gets shot or punched or there's some sort of blood used, you see this cross spray of blood. Yeah, just a thing. This reminds me actually of something that I was going to rant about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have a rant. I would like to get something off my chest. And the thing that's pissing me off at the moment is to do with YouTube. It's to do with YouTube adverts. Specifically, the silent YouTube adverts. Like, I don't understand what the purpose of silent YouTube ads is. The other day, and it seems that every company has at least one YouTube ad that has no sound whatsoever. No music, no sound effects, nothing. It's just the advert. Bristol Council has them. Sterling Bank has them. I even saw a McDonald's one today, and it was just. And
so
I'm
what?
thinking,
you mean that there's action but no sound?
It would
or
be
it's just a blank screen?
maybe it does, but they've been DMCA'd.
Uh,
It's a massive oversight on
maybe
McDonald's part. I'm
all
so
adverts for McDonald's recently have been racist.
excuse me, Mr. McDonald. What is it? I forgot to ask for permission to use pumped up kicks again.
Hand him off!
It was literally just a zoom out of a sandwich. It was a zoom out of a sandwich and
wow.
and just the price and the summer message, and it was that. And it was just sound, no sound. But there's loads of it.
I can honestly see the reason for that being budget cuts.
Really?
Like penny saving.
McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, they've been shut down for a year just like everyone else. And they've got staff to keep furloughed. They've got so many staff.
Yeah.
If the way that they can try and recover from that is for a little while, for a little bit, saving pennies on YouTube videos where you don't have to pay a sound technician, you don't, it's little things to save money. I get it. Yeah, so DS says bigger companies will be really penny pinching when they can. The company that I work for is penny pinching.
I would really like to know if there's any sort of like evidence, like some sort of data that would suggest that the amount of like, obviously an advert with no sound is less appealing than an advert with more sound. I'm pretty sure we can agree on that, unless the point of the advert is to do something cool with the fact that there's no sound. But I would like to know, like, what's the data that supports that actually, however less appealing the advert's going to be, it doesn't matter, because getting the advert out of there is still going to make them see a profit. It'd be interesting to look at that data. Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to. I've just typed into Google, why so many silent YouTube ads? I wasn't really expecting to answer my question, and it hasn't, so that's fine. YouTube says 96% of its users watch with the sound on.
That's an interesting piece of data, actually.
That's the whole thing. Let's have a look at it.
Well, hold on. Why wouldn't well, YouTube videos are meant to be with sound. So I'm more worried about the 4% of people that watch YouTube without any sound on.
Exactly. Let's see. YouTube is taking right. Oh well, this is a different.
That's like saying 96% of Spotify users listen to music on a non-zero volume level.
Yeah. Well, this is about ads. So YouTube joined Snapchat in appearing to take a swipe at Facebook's silent autoplay video.
Oh, okay.
Thinly veiled shots. Facebook encourages advertisers to spend on videos. No, don't fuck off. Spend on videos that play without sound, using its upfronts in the UK. So YouTube said that users continue to watch, not scroll, with 96% doing so with the sound on. Sound, he claims,
goes, ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Peter Cory, Google's agency leader, says sound has a huge impact on advertising. It's a view shared by Snapchat's Imran Khan, who claimed that a muted video advertising is nothing more than moving banners.
Okay.
Both YouTube and Snapchat's product offerings pivot around sound, so it's in their best interest to trumpet its worth. Well, so that makes less sense then. That there are adverts that are silent.
How much sort of digging around and underhanded tactics does something have to do before it becomes a conspiracy?
Wow. So what are you thinking? Well, what are you thinking?
Well, let's say that it was your original thought of, we're penny pinching here. We're cutting out the audio. We're cutting out the royalties on the songs and the audio engineer that we have to pay. and that will save us 3% of our expenditure, and therefore we can save 3%. At what point does that piece of information, so long as it's not being revealed to the public, when does that become a conspiracy?
I don't know, man. Well, I guess as soon as they deny doing it in order to save pennies, as soon as if the reason that they're doing it is to save money, and you ask them, are you just doing this to save money? And they say no. I think if you still don't believe it, it becomes a conspiracy.
So
because like not every conspiracy theory is actually true, and not everyone is false.
Yeah, and not every conspiracy theory is actually a conspiracy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, I mean, all right. Okay. So I think then we need to talk about the difference between conspiracy and conspiracy theory, right?
Okay. So conspiracy is conspiring, where a group of people get together to subvert something. Or not to subvert, or to.
I mean, you know what?
To secretly plan something. To plan something out of the public eye.
Conspiracy.
Oh, we're going Oxford. Going Oxford English on our asses.
So Oxford. Conspiracy is an agreement where two or more people agree to carry their criminal scheme into effect. Oh, right. So it has to be a criminal scheme. The very agreement is the criminal act itself. So it has to be criminal? I don't know if I like that definition.
Yeah, because I guess... Oh, no, yeah, that kind of works.
Oh, that's the legal definition.
Okay.
So, Oxford. A combination of persons for an evil or unlawful purpose, an agreement between two or more persons to do something criminal, illegal, or reprehensible, especially in relation to treason, sedition, or murder, a plot. Yeah, so that seems a little broader. Criminal, illegal, or reprehensible.
Okay, so if it was a case of McDonald's have decided they are not going to have any more of their adverts be with sound, therefore putting audio engineers potentially out of a job, then that would be a conspiracy.
Well, I feel like it would be a conspiracy if their intention for making silent ads was to put sound engineers out of a job.
Okay.
Which,
so essentially, I
can't.
Not
in their interest to do either way. Right?
I can't name this episode the silent YouTube ad conspiracy, can I?
I'm afraid not, buddy. I don't
but
think so.
Now that I've mentioned the fact that I can't
if you wanna weigh down on Lawrence's side, then I'll be overruled, and you can do what you want. This is your show, man.
Well, although the fact that I've mentioned the words, the silent YouTube ad conspiracy, I can now put it in quotation marks, and there's our title.
You haven't technically lied.
No.
Is that a conspiracy?
It's definitely questionable.
on something reprehensible.
Okay, well let's move away from conspiracies. There's something I wanted to ask about. We started talking about this the other day, and if DS is still here, he might be able to weigh in on this because he's got a lot of experience with different types of compositional elements. So we were talking about hymns the other day. Well, do you want to start off with how we talked about hymns?
I'd love to. So
you got given a book.
Messaging me. Sorry,
you got given a book.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So I was at work the other day, and I had a really nice chat with a couple of really lovely ladies, and we talked about my hair and brown people.
I was about to say, as white people often do.
yeah.
Oh, you've got lovely hair. Is it in the jeans? Can I touch it?
Proceeds to touch it, regardless of permission.
It doesn't happen with anything else. Like you don't. It's not a case of like, I don't go to India and they say, "Oh, what lovely skin? Can I touch it?"
Yeah.
Not in that voice, they don't.
Can I look real close at it?
I can see your dairy-filled paws. I'm like, yes, I drink a lot of milk.
Yeah, bro. Sorry, we don't worship those things. We kill them and eat them.
They don't worship them. They regard them as sacred. Come on, you insensitive bigot.
Well, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Look, we're talking about brown people.
Okay.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and eventually we had a really nice chat. And just as they were leaving, one of them went, "Oh, have this," and they gave me. Don't know how well you can see it. It's a. What does it say? An active service issue, 100th anniversary edition of the Gospel according to St. John. It says, active service 1914 to 1918. Please carry this in your pocket and read it every day. And firstly, I was really amused because if this woman knew about me, she would have been like, no, he probably doesn't want this, but that's fine.
That's the equivalent.
It was really nice.
It's the equivalent. It's the equivalent of giving a barbecue book to a vegan.
Yeah, well, it's like, yeah, it's sort of what she did was assume that because she was Christian and she read her Bible, that I must also be Christian.
Or maybe she just assumed you need God in your life. Oh, I lost you for a second, mate. That might have been my fault. I was oh, dude, you there? Hello. Oh, you just look like you're sucking on air right now. Okay, I'm gonna hang up the call and come back. Try it again. Ooh, what's going on here? It might be me. I'm gonna have to quit Skype and come back in again. It almost certainly is me. I have done something bad. I've done the bad murder. So, the show. I guess the show's just me now. Hi guys, welcome to the Lawrence Hobbs Show. Here you can look at my tummy. I'll get it out for you. Right, let's try and call back.
Hello.
I try again. Excellent. And oh, well, hold on. And try talking now.
1, 2.
Okay, we got you back.
Hurrah! Cool. So,
yeah, sorry.
She well, I think that what might have happened actually is that we had a really nice chat, and she assumed that because we were talking about being nice to each other,
yeah,
and about how skin color doesn't matter and all of that,
yeah,
I think because we were talking about that, she assumed that I was a good Christian boy. And
because
so
only good people can be, because only Christian people can be good. So
yeah, there we go.
Coming from a Christian, by the way.
Yeah.
Just FYI, I'm not hating on Christian beliefs. I am a Christian. I walk in the footprints, and when there's only one set of them, it's because I carry myself. So yeah.
So yeah, so like the Bible, I'm not going to read it. I've read a little bit. I probably will read it, but not because it's nice. It's a really nice little book, and it represents something really nice because it represents so these little books, replicas. This is a replica of a little field Bible that was given to people in World War One, and it has the important verses. It has notes for a priest to do a weekly sermon in the field, and
That's
it's
cool.
got printed in the back.
You have to go right to the camera. That.
just sheet music of a few hymns, and I thought that was really really nice. Like that, like because people find a lot of comfort
Yeah.
in religion. I get that.
Well, if even if you don't want to treat it as a religious text, you can always treat it as a reference material. Like you can treat it as documentation. Like I used to, I don't have any more because I lost it, but I used to have a copy of the Quran, even though I'm a Christian, just because it's useful to have it as reference.
Yeah. You know what? I think it is. I think it is an important thing to expose yourself to ideas that you don't understand. And so, like Adam Neely was talking about how he forced himself to listen to country music, or no, to Christian worship music because he hates Christian worship music.
There's definitely a certain brand of Christian worship music that is awful, and there's a brand of Christian worship music that's really bad because they seem to not know how bass works. Like not only the instrument but also the frequency. Like it's all very high end, and that I feel like that when you're wanting to create a religious experience, you would want a lot of bass. You want to feel it resonating inside your chest, and so you want to sort of like create almost like a holy resonance, and because they do chanting and group singing to and I understand the whole hyperventilation, which makes you a bit lightheaded and therefore makes holy experiences more like profound.
But the bass would add to that.
Yeah, the bass would absolutely add to that. So I don't know why, and it's especially when you've got hymns that use like organs. Organs love the bass. Organs love the bass on that. But for some reason, like more modern worship music kind of has neglected it. Now, bear in mind, I am talking with 10 years less experience than I had 10 years ago, because I haven't been to church for a long time. I don't believe that church is part of me practicing my faith, and the Bible says the church is good but not 100% necessary. Also says that it's not a building. So so I might be out of touch with how Christian worship music has gotten now. I know that my church was quite in touch with how music was created and tended to make music that was a bit more towards the sort of secular feel, because a lot of the people that they had leading worship were musicians first and worship leaders afterwards, if you know what I mean.
No, I just realized I've been to church twice since the last time you went to church.
Really? I wanted to be fair, I do want to go back. Like it's an interesting experience. DS says, I think the problem as well stems from some of the Christian music now is about an experience and very shallow compared to some of the older music. Yeah, I can understand that, because
about an experience as opposed to about like the love for God itself.
Well,
I'm not sure what I don't think I'm sure what DS meant.
So it's about the experience of performing worship rather than what you're actually trying to express. So it's it's the equivalent of it's like Glastonbury. Used to be about the music, now it's about going and getting fucked up and having a great experience.
Okay.
It's less about the music. It's almost like a concert rather than worship. Yeah. And yeah, I totally agree with that, DS. I've been to a lot of them.
Like, if the last 2 times I went to church was a concert, I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah,
wasn't worth free entry.
It's not. It's not a good. It's not a good representation of a concert, but that's what it's trying to be.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I totally see where both are coming from. Sorry, I derailed your the topic there. I didn't mean to.
That's okay. Well, like, yeah. So we were just like, Um, what were we saying? So like, we found these hymns. Why was there no bass in worship music?
Yeah, and that was what derailed us. So it was before that. We were talking about hymns themselves, and we were talking about um, that when you listen to a hymn, you know it's a hymn compared to another piece of music of the time. Like there's a way that it's constructed, a way that the chord progressions work, and a way that it flows, and a way that is rhythmic about hymns. And I don't know. I we were looking very briefly into uh, we're looking very briefly into how you construct a hymn and how you compose for a hymn. And we were talking about suspended chords and how you have to take into account the reverberation of the church, of the building, and how those chords at the end of phrases, if you don't have a gap, they're going to overlap, and so you can't really change key unless you change it in a certain way or to a key that's a very specific relative, so that when those echoes overlap, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, and also the fact that when the idea is that you've got hundreds of people in one room and they're all meant to be singing the same thing at the same time, having that big open reverb space and having those breaks in between the verses allows it effectively it allows for an average of what everyone is singing.
Yeah.
Basically, some people are going to be really early, some people are going to be behind, some people are, going to be just like a split second behind because they can't quite remember the melody and they listen to the person next to them. And
this is why there are some hymns that are quite famous, but they're famous for being difficult to sing in a choir, in a congregation. I don't know if you are aware of this one. You might be. Do you know the one "Shine Jesus Shine"?
Probably.
Shine Jesus Shine.
Yeah.
Now all this is a really unusual hymn because the chords are really fast. It's like 120, 130 BPM, and the chords for a hymn go really quickly. Da 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 da
Yeah.
da 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 da, and
that's not even enough time for the early reflection of the reverb.
Exactly. And so there's whenever you sing it, and there's because of the fact that between the verse and the chorus, there is a slight key change. Well, it's not a key change. It's a change of the home chord, between the verse and the chorus, and there's a little gap, but the gap is not big enough for the people who have finished singing and the people who need to start the next one. So people try and anticipate it, and you always get 3 or 4 people that accidentally start singing a beat too early, and it's really funny.
Because they know they don't realize until after they've started that they've done it.
It's
like, and then it's like a
mortifyingly
compressor with
embarrassing.
a really slow attack on it. They're like,
yes.
Ah!
It's mortifyingly embarrassing. Whenever I sing that song, I refuse to sing the word "shine" when it comes to the first bit.
Jesus.
Yes, I do. Well, no, not the second time. But I refuse. I do not want to be that guy that is just sort of da 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 da. Shine, just fuck.
Yeah.
It's just one of those. It's an interesting hymn. There's
that's a good point.
Yeah, that's a more modern one. That was created in the 70s, I think. I'm not gonna look that up on my computer. I'm gonna look that up on my phone. But yeah, carry on with
Well, so I'm just looking. So we talked a bit about the suspended chords.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm now making sure I've got it right in my head. There's a musical chord in which the third, major or minor, is omitted and replaced with a perfect fourth, or less commonly a major second.
Oh my god. Sorry, Shine Jesus Shine was 1988.
Oh. Wow.
Sorry, Karen.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, so you can have a sus4 or a sus2. Musical chord. Third is omitted and replaced with a perfect fourth. Might see if I can.
You're gonna get
No.
the piano out.
I'm not going to switch on Logic. Oh, I've got a melodica though.
Oh, nice. Happy days.
Going acoustic.
Sort of. Okay. Let's do this.
So if let's take C then.
Okay.
So I mean that's interesting. It's playing the wrong note.
Yeah.
So this would be the minor third. This is the major third here, the D. If I replace it with the perfect fourth.
That's interesting. So it sort of it calls you back. It calls
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
It's begging you to come home. DS says, you know something that's kind of really strange, kind of funny. Tell us, DS. Tell us. So that's a suspended fourth.
That's a suspended fourth. So
What's a suspended second?
Suspended second would be.
Switch between the fourth and the second. I'm using it as my personal DAW now. And it sounds incomplete. Nice.
But yeah, so it's the whole. I was telling you about before. You'd use the fourth. You go. And that would finish off the. So, yeah, it's really cool, and like, you pretty much that is absolutely an identifier of a hymn. I
Yeah.
think. Oh,
Have
God,
have you also noticed that I don't know if it's something you have noticed, but no matter whether a hymn is in a major or a minor key, it's always like a really depressing song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dia says, Odd Hobbs, I had a dream last night where we met up with you and you were talking about Christianity a little. And I told you both that I was an active Christian and you were a bit gobsmacked. I woke up thinking it was interesting, and here you are talking about Christian music. Hey!
It's a sign.
It's a sign.
Boys.
I'd like to be real talk for a second here. I would like to be more of an active Christian. And last time we talked, I was talking about like my struggle with Christianity and the fact that despite the fact that I call myself a Christian, there are some aspects of my life that some people who are Christian would say it doesn't align, but beg to differ.
Pretty much everyone, like if you were to line up every single Christian in the world and tell them every single thing that you do, not one of them would say, "Oh, you do it exactly the way that I do it, so you're a real Christian."
Yeah,
it's the no true Scotsman argument.
Yeah, well, shh, DS is in the chat.
He's not really Scottish, so that's fine.
It's difficult to have a different view on things. Yeah. Let's move off of religion for a minute, because this is a music show. This is a music show, and I think it might be time to talk about some music news.
Do we have a jingle?
It already happened.
Oh.
In fact, we talked over it. So I'll do it again. Hold on.
Okay.
Wait, let's go back to the main screen. And then here we go. News jingle.
I just realised I won't be able to hear it because it's going in your headphones. So.
No, it's not even going in my headphones. I can't hear it either.
Oh, right. Well, that was great, I assume.
It was. I just realised also that my camera is the wrong way around again. So let's turn myself around. And now we're back to life. Back to reality. Right, let's talk about news. There's actually a piece of news that I forgot to mention when we were like setting up. And it's a really nice positive piece of news. So the rappers Young Thug and Gunna are paying bail for 30 low-level offenders in Atlanta. So they basically like, so these are people that are on minor charges like possession, trespassing, stuff that isn't offences that they shouldn't really be in there for, but the bail is too high for the families to pay. So they've decided to pay them.
That's pretty.
And that's just really cool. Like we have to mention that.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely. So good on you, lads. You're doing more than I
so
could
much bad
possibly do.
news.
There's a lot of bad news. Okay, so let's start with the most bad of the most bad news. Anita Lane, member of the Bad Seeds, has passed away. I can't tell how old she was, but she's a very established songwriter. Was girlfriend to Nick Cave for a while. Became his wife. Look, we keep losing good uns. But again, like we said last week, consolations to her family and to everyone involved. We hope that everything's all well. So let's yes, thank you for the message. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
Was there another obituary?
There is, and I can't find the name of it. So yeah. So if I find it later on, we'll come back to it.
I need the break.
Okay, so let's go to. Oh, did we talk about? Yeah. So let's talk about Charlie XCX. So she stormed. Oh wait, hold on. Something's wrong. Oh no, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. I'm just looking at the wrong thing. So she stormed out of a meeting recently, with label bosses after an authenticity argument. So it's been revealed that she stormed out of a meeting with her record label after they tried to make her more real. In quotes. The How I'm Feeling Now singer revealed that she was unimpressed with label bosses asking her to post photos with her dogs in an attempt to relate to fans. Mr. Magic Monkey Man, good to see you, my friend. We're all very well, thank you. If you want to weigh in on any of this, my friend, we're just talking about Charlie XCX and how she's just stormed out of a meeting with industry bosses after they asked her to be more real. And it's essentially being more fake to be more real, which is
not authentic realness.
No. She's quoted to say, there is this quest at the moment for authenticity within all art, but particularly in music. There's this stigma of they don't write their songs, they're not real. I think that transferred to the way labels wanted artists to be on social media. I remember having a meeting with my record label when they were like, we just need you to post every Tuesday about your flaws, and maybe you could post some pictures with dogs. She said, I stormed out. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. It's crazy. That's not real. Now.
About your flaws.
It's Carlos. Mr. Magic Monkey Man. I did think it might be you. It's good to see you again. Oh, well, it's good to talk to you, my friend. It's good to talk to you. So in the search to be real is an interesting search that I recently have had to question myself on. So, I'm one of the people. I'm the sort of person that likes to be transparent about stuff. And originally, like, I started streaming to with the thought that I was doing a transparent view of the music making process, because I saw YouTubers online acting like they had massive studios, and I was like, that doesn't seem real to me, and maybe I could be the person that could come up from the ground level with all the other people and learn with everybody else, and they could learn with me and teach me stuff, and I can teach them stuff, and it'll be a great community experience. I realise now that I was quite misguided in thinking that. Like, it was almost like it was almost a delusion of grandeur for me to come through with that. Almost a delusion of grandeur. Like, it came from a good place, and it was a very real thing to want to believe. But I also have to admit that quite a lot of people don't want to see people who are necessarily worse than them or at the same level as them. They want to aspire to somebody. So then I had to really just bite the bullet and start to admit to myself that really what I wanted to do the streams for was as a potential alternate income and a way for me to get out of a situation that I've been in for a really long time, that I didn't enjoy. And that was the real reason I was doing it. And the transparency of it would have been a nice byproduct rather than my initial aim. So that's me trying to be transparent and clear right now about my motivations and my goals. But also I'm trying really hard to try and promote myself, and the Instagram, like trying to promote yourself on social media all the time is really difficult. Like so I don't have a very large following on anything: Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, anything. And if I want to turn this into a valid career, I have to build that, and I can't gig at the moment. And who knows if I'm gonna gig, because let's be honest, gigging is fucking scary. Gigging is terrifying, man.
So you know what, man? I find performing in front of people a lot less scary than switching on the camera. Like myself, I've only just the other day recorded the acoustic version of this song, whose studio version I'm working on.
Yeah.
And I can, I've been really flipping tired. I've been working every day. I've been losing my light. There's stuff been getting in the way. I've got things to do. Churchill dug out the entire fucking litter tray last week. Pissed me off. But ultimately, the reason that I didn't get around to it until a couple of days ago is because I was scared about turning the camera on, and I was coming up with ways to not turn the camera on.
Yeah.
So, like, when you say, as we all know, gigging is fucking scary, I'm like, give me a gig over telling me to turn a camera on and do it myself any day.
I think, to be honest, there's a bit more that you can get from gigging. Like, there's more of an endorphin rush, I think, and there's a connection that you feel with your audience. Like, there's definitely a divide here. Like, you guys on the other side of the screen, I love you for tuning in. Thank you so much. But there's definitely a divide between me and the audience. DS says he still gets nervous before he streams. He's been doing it for a little while. Carl, I'm pretty sure that you probably get nervous before performing as well.
Well, you know what? Have you heard of Simon Sinek? He's a motivational speaker, I think.
I was thinking it sounds familiar, but that's because it sounds like Jason Janik. So
Simon Sinek, Jason Janik, distant cousins. He gives motivational speeches on beach music. It's great. But Simon Sinek, he was talking about fear.
Yeah.
He says this thing about fear. He's like, what happens when you're afraid? Well, your heart rate goes up. Maybe your breathing gets faster. Your temperature goes up. You sort of sharpen up a little bit. What happens when you're excited? Exactly the same things. And when I ask Olympic athletes before they perform, are you nervous? They say, no, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And what he's saying is that nerves and excitement are the same thing. They're two sides of the same coin. And the only thing that makes the difference is you telling yourself, I'm scared, or you telling yourself, I'm excited. You can choose to look at those symptoms in different ways.
I agree to that to a certain extent. I think I will differ on what makes the difference between the two. I think that it's the same. You're right, absolutely right. The same sort of physiological chemistry and balancing act that's going on there. Absolutely right. the reason if it's between fear and excitement is that fear is a product of you scared of getting stuff wrong, and excitement is where you're looking forward to getting stuff right.
Well, I don't. Huh. I'm not sure if I agree with that.
Okay.
I'm not saying I don't agree with it. I'm saying I'm not sure if I do. Like, if I disagree with you on something, I'll usually go, not sure if I agree with you there, Lawrence. But this time, I genuinely don't know whether or not I agree with you.
I mean, it could just be that everybody's different, and everyone has different triggers for what flips that nervousness into excitement. So I guess for me, it's a fear of failure versus a look forward to success.
Yeah, I think you are right, actually. Yeah, and I think it's like effectively whatever habit. I guess it's a habit of which do you default to first. So I historically default to what am I doing wrong, rather than what am I getting right? What am I doing well?
Yeah.
I think I do absolutely agree with you.
And the thing is, the reason why I think you go to do a what am I doing wrong phase. DS, lovely to see you, mate.
DS.
Stay safe, and we'll see you soon. The reason why you tend to go for a what am I doing wrong is because you are you're a very educational focused person. You love to learn, and it is much easier to learn lessons from failure than it is to learn lessons from success. So let's say you had a really great shift at work. You had the best shift of your life. You might be able to pinpoint what made it the best shift, but it's a lot harder to pinpoint what went right in that good shift than what went wrong in the bad shift. And that's why we as humans, we learn better from making mistakes than we do from successes. Yeah. So I think that could be where that comes from. And it's not necessarily a negative thing. Mr. Magic Monkey Man says, yes, I always used to be nervous before going on stage, but when I was up there, it was the biggest release for me. I was always terrified in live going through some of the stuff I did, but when on stage, I was free and happy. I don't know if I'll be on stage again because the anxiety of stuff might be too great, but this doesn't mean I won't try again. I won't deny myself the opportunity to feel that freedom again, but this is why I joined Skillshare. I bought a set of drums and found
Tune in next week
to be continued. That's thanks for the input there, man.
Yeah. I feel the same way about acting. Like I'm not really nervous before I play guitar on stage.
Okay.
But before I play, I'm nervous until I'm on the stage.
There is something like literally physically between you and potential criticism, though, when you play guitar. There's a guitar.
Yeah.
And I always find that guitar helps me hit notes because I feel the vibrations in my guitar, in the chest. I just match the vibrations that I'm feeling through the guitar to what I'm singing. Like, it sounds really weird, but I find it easier to hit notes when I'm playing guitar than when I'm just listening to music. And I think it's because, I do have a habit of sliding up to notes and all that bullshit. But at the same time, it's a confidence thing. There's something literally in between you two. The continuation is here. I bought a set of drums and found that I love that more and more. I'm using Pro Tutor Skillshare to learn progress and also utilize the business and video editing lessons to build a minimum production standard for building a YouTube channel. Hashtag not sponsored.
No, good on you, man.
But yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've been trying to do is I've been trying and post to Instagram daily, just to try and build some sort of following. And that's difficult because sometimes I do literally nothing. I don't do anything to do with music. I don't do anything to do with streaming. I will sit on my ass and I'll play one level of a video game all fucking day.
But I can't
Instagram that. Sorry.
This is the thing, though, because there are there are a lot of days when I don't do anything. A lot of days when I don't do anything music related. So there are a lot of days where I'm just like, I'm too tired. Like I'm not up for the challenge right now. And I should probably work on that.
Well, what I've done to try and combat it is when I do something, and first off, I've tried to get myself into the head of, I might want to document this. Like, that's the first hurdle I had to go over, because I just didn't want to document anything. I didn't care about documenting stuff.
Yeah.
My girlfriend has regularly said that she wishes that I posted more pictures of us on social media. It's not that I don't want to post more pictures of us. It's that I forget to take pictures, because taking pictures is not important to me. So I've got to retrain my brain to think this might need to be documented for whatever reason, whether it's for me, whether it's for my girlfriend, whether it's for my career, whether it's for promotion, but there might be a reason I want to document this. And when I do document something, I try and think to myself, right, how can I stretch this out? Now that I am in documenting mode, now I'm doing this thing, can I take some more pictures? Can I do some more videos? Can I do anything else using this one moment? And then on a day when I don't have anything to post, I can just post that other stuff instead. So
yeah.
So like,
but this is what I was like gonna say, is that I need to be backlogging, photos and posts and stuff. Mr. Magic Monkey Man, I'm with Theo on this, though. I've been wanting to turn on the camera to take people through the learning process, but I keep finding reasons why I'm not ready yet. Yeah. I know once I get started, I won't be able to stop. Theo, the blessing is, if you seriously don't feel up to it on a certain day, you are permitted to take a break. There's no reason to force yourself, and ensure you make it more of a chore that you don't want to do anymore. That's the end of it. Sorry for the length. No, thank you. Thank you for that. No, yeah, exactly the same as me. I know that once I'm doing it, then it'll be fine. Yeah. But it's just starting to do it, and it's dealing with the guilt when I want to not do it for a little bit.
Take it from me, from somebody who has been streaming every single day for 4 months now, maybe even longer. There's one of the nice things is that you can give yourself permission to take a break, and that was one of the hurdles I had to go over quite early. Like, if I needed to give myself a break, just to take a break. I haven't streamed making music for about 2 weeks now, and it's just because I am now transitioning my head into going back to work mode. There's some stuff I need to tidy up with the stream anyway, but I'm okay with still continuing with this show at the moment. But I'm now taking essentially a hiatus from streaming the normal show, and that's okay. But you're right. Me starting that first stream was the most nerve-wracking thing in the world. And I still get nervous when starting a stream because I'm gonna fuck up. But it does become second nature at some point. You do end up just making it part of your day. Like, right now, I'm not even thinking about the fact that this is being broadcast. I am thinking about the fact that I'm talking to my friend about topics which we have predetermined, and I've also got an interactive chat element as well. And that's the thing I kind of focus on. I just realised we've talked a very long time about this one news story. Should we should we move on to something else?
Yeah.
We are probably going to run out of time for news stories, so I'm going to
we've done the obituary, we've done the feel-good stuff.
Yeah, let's I don't know which one I want to do, because I want to pick one thing. Let's talk about Slipknot. Let's talk about Cory Taylor, and Mr. Magic Monkey Man, and TS, The Elder Scrolls. Hashtag not sponsored also. In reply to the last comment, you are your own boss. Don't feel guilty. Just know your own health and happiness come first. It's necessary to break when you need. The only reason I'm here is because I'm taking a break from drum practice today, as I feel not so energetic. Well, it's good to have you here, man. Good to have you here. Ooh, Slipknot. Yeah, so Cory Taylor has been an interesting, shall we say, spokesperson for music, especially in the last year. He's taken some stances which are kind of unlike him. And he's there's a few. So going, I believe there was one about the Eminem cancel culture that we touched on a few weeks ago, and now in an interview he's talked about the whole. So back in the day, back in 2000, Lars Ulrich sued Napster because they were allowing Metallica songs to be streamed, to be torrented. And as a result of that, we now have the copyright law that we have for streaming and YouTube videos today. It was born out of that court case. And Cory Taylor has now said he's made peace with streaming services' unfair payments model. Now, considering that he is a musician who I'm pretty sure doesn't get paid the right amount for his music, I don't understand why he's decided to make peace with it. And you were saying...
Slipknot, not a peaceful band.
Yeah. And it's just... So, let me just get some more quotes here. He appeared on the Steve-O's Wild Ride podcast last week. And he said, it's kind of weird, it's kind of hard, because in this day and age, it's really hard to know which ones of the fucking streaming services actually compensate the artists that they're ripping off. It's more important for me that people listen to the music. At this point, I've kind of made peace with the fact that there are various services who are just kind of screwing us. And until the legislation is actually enforced, which they passed under Trump, which I couldn't fucking believe, they'll be charging us at least that rate. But they've appealed that legislation. He added, I don't think the appeals will actually go through. They will raise the rates, and then musicians will be able to make a living off their recordings again. And then, off the back of that, so not off the back of this, so I literally a day earlier or a day later, Spotify announced that they're going to be raising their rates. So I think it's going to happen. It's going to happen, which I'm really excited about, because I think this is going to be a monumental change in the way that not only musicians are getting paid, but how they are able to promote themselves. Because at the end of the day, money makes the world go round. If you don't have very much money, you have to do some pretty underground ways to market yourself. Now, I think that we're going to see an interesting peak and trough here. I think that people's or artists' revenue is going to increase. They're going to get paid more. Therefore, the marketing is going to increase, which means that now the market will be saturated with high quality marketing for all artists. Now, what sort of shape will that take? Not sure. It could be as simple as promoted plays on Spotify, having playlists featuring more mainstream artists, or very traditional radio marketing. It could be anything. But this is going to mean that the way artists market themselves in the next, I'm going to say 10 years, in the next 10 years, the way artists market themselves is going to change drastically. And I think it's going to have to. So we, as fledgling artists, because all of the people that are here are fledgling artists, we're not making it big at the moment. We don't have a lot of money. We are very, very early in the game. We're kind of we kind of have to hope that luck falls in favor of us. Now, when I say luck, I'm going to be very specific about what I mean by luck. So, I don't believe that luck is the cosmic randomness of the universe dealing a good hand to you. I don't believe that that's what luck is. I believe that luck is a combination of preparation and opportunity. If you prepare, then when the opportunity comes and you're ready, you can go for it. That's what luck is. The opportunity is the random bit, but if you prepare yourself, then you're not just relying on the opportunity being correct for your situation. You've made yourself applicable to all situations. So I think that this is what we need to do now as artists. We're going to have to start searching and seeking out marketing strategies that are not being used at the moment.
Yeah.
And I have an idea for one.
Okay.
So I'm going to. This may already have a term, but I'm going to call this anarchistic marketing, and it's almost guerrilla marketing.
Oh, is that when Johnny Rotten did the Country Life Butter adverts? That sort of anarchist advertising.
Similar, except less butter. Or we could use butter, but I would like to start maybe doing some illegal shit.
Oh yeah.
And I'm talking like comic book levels of anarchistic shit, like draping a giant banner off the side of the what's it called now, Bristol Tower, with a QR code on it.
I mean, yeah.
I think that
that is absolutely guerrilla advertising.
Yeah. I think that guerrilla advertising might be how we have to go about this now. But it's been done. It's been done, Theo. What are we going to do?
Has it been done recently?
No, but I think.
Okay.
I think.
Well, QR codes then, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think you need to like hang a sign off of Bristol Tower. Is this formerly Colston Hall?
Yeah. Formerly Colston Tower. Yeah.
Colston Tower. I feel like you could just, if you just had these QR codes fucking everywhere in town on Friday and Saturday evenings, especially. I feel like even if one drunken dude, while he's waiting for his kebab, gets curious and scans the code, you know. But would this be to link to your album, or to you as an artist?
I think it would be to me as an artist.
Like your Instagram?
No, maybe I don't know to
maybe your new Squarespace website. This episode's been sponsored. Hit it
all
Lawrence.
along. Hashtag absolutely an ad.
Do you want a propeller? Okay.
I think maybe to a Spotify page, or just to, I don't know, man. I don't know, maybe to a gig venue, or
can you work out something that would? Oh, you probably couldn't. Like a QR code that you could scan in that would automatically get someone to follow you on Spotify. That you can do
well,
that.
Well, not follow, because the I'm pretty sure that would be a conspiracy, because that would be the act of following has to be voluntary.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, Spotify would just make you follow any artist that you click through to. But the way you were thinking about it is, I could get it to open up Google Maps and direct them to a location.
Oh yeah,
that could be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what would be at that location?
Me.
Like another QR code.
Me in a jar of honey. me.
I got a bed of roses.
Me. It would just be me standing there. Hello. It's me.
You found me.
But yeah, I think we just need to say marketing is going to change, and it's going to be up to the little guy, i.e. us, to be ahead of the curve when it comes to marketing. And we need to start thinking about this now. If you're a small artist and you're watching this, you need to start thinking about alternative marketing methods now, because the market, excuse the pun, it's not even a pun, excuse the phrasing, the market is going to be saturated. It's going to be saturated. Mr. Magic Monkey Man says, have the QR codes be a link to a site where they can hear examples, not full tracks. The way they almost immediately hear your music and peak interest, especially if the guy goes drunk. I think their brain will tell them that. I don't think their brain will tell them they like it anyway and get you some subs. I would just link them to my Spotify because my Spotify is already out there. Like, I have music on my Spotify account. People can listen to it. It's I don't know if examples would be the right way of going about it, because the sales of songs is not how we're going to support ourselves as artists. It's going to be through alternative revenue streams like merch, Patreon, OnlyFans. Like, no, I'm being serious. I'm being absolutely serious. Like,
Bed of Roses again, Lawrence.
yeah, it's me and my Bed of Roses. Like, can you imagine how much money Hayley Williams would make if Paramore opened an OnlyFans?
Oh yeah,
Loads.
yeah.
Can you imagine how much money, I don't know, Orville Peck would make if he opened an OnlyFans? Loads.
So YouTube video or video you put on Facebook that shows a reel of songs 30 seconds each and generate interest.
Oh, like a trailer.
Like a portfolio. A mini video portfolio.
A trailer could be an interesting way of doing it. Because I remember there used to be adverts on TV for albums.
Yeah.
And I kind of want those to come back. I like them. And there would always be 3 adjectives that they would describe, especially rock songs. They would describe
hit new single.
No, it would, for pop songs it'd be hit, but for rock songs it would be stunning, beautiful, and what's the last one?
Fucking awesome.
I think it's superb.
Oh.
I think it's superb. So it'd be like Biffy Clyro's new album with superb circles and the stunning many of horror, and it'd be haunting would be another one they're using. Yeah, like a trailer portfolio. Also, Lawrence is right, OnlyFans, not just for porn stars, you can do whatever you want. Yep, you can.
Yep, yeah.
Twitch is becoming a bit of an OnlyFans at the moment, but I think it's going to die for the next 6 months. But yeah, I think OnlyFans is going to just get bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, so we've got to 1:30. That's enough news. Should we go for a quick break?
Let's do that.
Okay, so we're going to have a very quick break, literally 3 to 5 minutes to make a cup of tea, refill our drinks, and come back here. Please do not go anywhere, or if you do go somewhere, come back, and we'll be back to talk about some music. Peace! Welcome back to part 2 of today's show. We've been talking about hymns and the construction of them. We've been talking about the silent YouTube video ad non-conspiracy. We've been talking about Wilhelm Screams. We've been talking about the fear of performing. We've been talking about Charlie XCX. We've been talking about Cory Taylor. We've been talking about Spotify. And propellers and Squarespace and OnlyFans. Oh, it's been a doozy of a show so far.
So it reminds me, if you ever do set up an OnlyFans, it's something I thought of on the break. Your profile picture should be you in a pair of little hot pants and a bra, kneeling on a bed, blowing a kiss, going, "Come visit my OnlyFans." Because people will know that they're not going to be going there to look at you in a bra. They're not necessarily sure what they would be looking they'd be seeing.
Mr. Magic Monkey Man says, "Gotta say, I love the break music. That put a smile on my face and some energy back in my body." Thank you very much. It took me a long time to compose. It's me trying my best to make a really long track for the transitional music, and it goes through. I might go there to see Lost in a Bra. Thanks, guys. Thank you. I try and move through as many sort of musical styles as I possibly can in that transitional music. But it was a lot of fun to make. If you go to the VODs, you can see previous episodes. One of the really early episodes, I think I make the music. Yeah, speaking of music, Do we talk about some songs?
Let's talk about some songs.
Let's play this new stinger. So do you want to intro?
By the way, we're assuming that happened. I'm assuming it happened.
It did happen. I can prove it by doing it again. Hold on. Here we go. Ready for this?
Way.
Didn't happen that time.
Oh.
Hold on. I can make it play again. Here we go.
Wait.
No, not yet. It's like 8 seconds long. Shut up. Okay, let's try it again. One more time. We're going to wait for the proper amount of time. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Shut up!
Hey!
Yes, it worked that time. So, do you wanna intro the segment?
So this is a segment called "Songs We Can't Get Enough of." So it happened. Deja vu a third time. They've changed something. Run. So yeah, this is part of the show. Songs we can't get enough of. So this is where Lawrence and I talk about songs we've been listening to this week that we just really like for whatever reason. It might be the songwriting, it might be the music, it might be the production, it might be that it's just really fun to listen to. And we have a playlist which you can find on Spotify, which is updated every week. I believe the songs we're talking about this week have already been put on there.
Not only that, my friend, I've now reordered the entire playlist so that the ones we're talking about this week are the first ones you'll see on the playlist. So no longer scrolling to the bottom to get to the most recent songs. They're
like
right
a
there.
caveman.
Yeah, like a stupid
chump.
dum-dum. I'm talking to past me who went, oh, we'll just stick them all in a playlist. Let's not even think about how people are going to navigate it.
To be fair, you did ask for you did try and make sure that they were in the order that we talked about them as well.
Yeah, but now they're in reverse that order.
Yeah. So the playlist is called "Why Can't I Do Music Good? Songs We Can't Get Enough of." It's got a really cute little graphic for the cover.
Yeah.
Really nice. Provided by Braveface.
Yep. If she's in the chat, say hi. But if she's not, don't. Sorry.
What if she is in the chat and she doesn't? How will we know?
We'll burn that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah. Right. So we're talking about these songs, and you'll be able to find them in the playlist. Go and listen to it. There's a really cool selection of songs on there. I think it's really varied. Do you want to kick us off, Lawrence?
I will. I've got less to say about my song than I do about your song because your song took me on a journey, man. But my song is a song by I've forgotten his bloody name.
Don Thomas.
Don Thomas, and it's called "Come On Train," and it's this funky 70s soul funk thing, and it's
so cool.
Yeah, it feels really familiar when I listen to it, and it could just be the chords. It could just be the chord sequence is very evocative at the time, but it does feel like a song that gets played like way more than you realise, like it's always in the background of something. It's one of those sort of songs.
It's one of those.
It's one of them songs.
Now and then.
So it's just about coming back home to your girlfriend after being away for ages and hoping she's still there, alive, single, into nerdy guys. I don't know.
Not got dysentery.
Well, it's weird because like back in the 70s, maybe that was a thing. I wasn't around, but it might be that you went off for a weekend and then came back and she was with another dude who's like, you were gone for like 2 days.
You would never come back.
Yeah, yes. Everybody had that dog mentality.
Like a dog when you come home from work.
Yeah, we're not.
Oh God, you're home! Thank God for that.
We're not comparing women to dogs here. We're comparing people to dogs. Sorry, carry on.
Say again?
I said we're not comparing women to dogs. We're comparing people to dogs.
Yeah,
especially women. I mean, people.
Well, no dogs.
Either way, like, despite the questionable nature of the couple's relationship, the song isn't about that. It's just about begging a train to go faster because you can't wait to get to the other side. And it's it's such a simple idea for a song. The 70s were a much simpler time. Like, you know, with the wife beating and the racism and the police corruption.
Just a simpler time.
It was much different. Oh, wait, sorry, that's still happening now? Oh, well. So, yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't think anyone would write a song about that nowadays. Like, about a train going too slow. Like, maybe you could write a song about, like, an Uber driver dropping delivery orders at the same time as trying to drop you off, or how expensive fuel is. But, like...
Well, you've got that song, Driver's License.
But that's... Well, oh, yeah, that's an
this
interesting
girl getting
one.
her driving license.
And not being able to share it with the person that she wanted to share it with, yeah.
Yeah. So just like, well, I got my driving license, you know, when we were together, we were really excited about that. And now I'm driving my car, but I'm driving past your street. And I'm alone in my car.
So, yeah, maybe... so there are some songs that's like...
transportation-based lyrics.
Well, the only one that I could...
wrong with...
Well, the only song that I could think of being about a train not going fast enough was "Last Train Home" by Lost Prophets, which is a banger of a song. I'm going to leave it that. So this song I really like. There's just the harmonies in it are great. I love everything about this song, and it's
classic, isn't it?
It's just absolute classic 70s funk soul. Almost Motown. I don't know who released it. I didn't go into that. There is however one negative I have about the song, and it's just because I'm not a fan of like strings in soul music, like violins in soul music and string sections in soul music. Just because like when it's in soul and funk and Motown, it just edges way too close to being disco for my liking. And I'm just not a fan of disco. Like modern disco, like your house music and Justice and stuff like that, I'm all for. But like traditional 70s, 80s disco, I'm just not a fan of. Because let's be honest, I don't understand why somebody listened to Funkadelic, Sly and the Family Stone, and Marlena Shaw and said, "Oh, this is great." But what are all the white people going to dance to? So yeah, that's what I love about this song. I think it's a great track.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really... I played it a couple of times. It's nice. Not what I was expecting.
No, I forget
I hadn't heard a song before.
I forget that you and I weren't as close when I was going through my soul funk stage, which I'm still kind of into, but like I think it was when I was building up to getting my driving license, and I was building a playlist to drive to when I finally had a car, and I was so excited. I was like, right, I can only have the coolest songs. What is the coolest type of music? And of course, it's 70s fucking funk and soul. Classic funk and soul from the 70s. It is the coolest thing to drive to. And this is when the car industry was also taking a turn, especially in America, where suddenly the engines were getting massive, the cars were getting massive. Really, really, really good example of the difference between English and American car manufacturing in the 70s. Cars in the 60s, up until the end of the 60s, they had a driver seat, and a passenger seat. And in the UK, we were like, right, we still like our cars quite small. We can't expand our roads very much because we're very historical. So we'll keep to that design. America were like, why is there only 2 seats in the front? Why can't we get our entire family in the front seat? And in the 70s, they just had a sofa on the front seat. And that was that is the attitude of the 70s from America. It's just big, brash, brown. And I don't mean that in like a racial way. I mean like everything was brown then.
Well, we didn't think you did mean it like that until you said you didn't.
Well, sorry. Now you think I do. But like they
I hear you're a racist now, father.
it was just a weird like trend. Like suddenly everything was brown. But like it's so I what I did was I made a playlist with all these music on, and it was for some reason I really it's basically switches between soul and funk from the 70s, fuzz rock from the noughties and 90s, and sort of southern like blues rock from the 90s. And I don't know why those three, because they're kind of like they're a little bit similar, but not quite. But it just flicks around between those three, and it's just a really cool playlist to listen to. And I was listening to it for about 2 years before I ended up getting a car, to the point where I got bored of the playlist before I got the car. So, like, I did make an effort to make sure I listened to it for the first like 6 months of me having a car, but I did get bored of it. I still put it on occasionally. I mean, I could share it if you wanted to. It's a great driving playlist, but it's my driving playlist, so fuck yeah. Yeah, so that's my song. Come On Train.
Nice.
By Don Thompson. Oh, what a track.
So, my track was John the Revelator by Depeche Mode, which, you know what, I listened to this song. I used to have this album years and years and years ago. I just bought it because a girl that I fancied said that she liked Depeche Mode. So I bought a Depeche Mode album. And I think it's first track on there. John the Revelator, you know, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I remember watching the music video for it. But I hadn't, until a few weeks ago, hadn't heard it in years, like 10, 15. Yeah,
it's a reimagining of an old gospel song.
Yeah. So John the Revelator, well, it's sort of it's almost like a kind of a nasty kind of parody of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's very interesting that you got given the gospel according to John this week, and then chose to have this song, because the song is a reimagining of the gospel song John the Revelator, but redone in a very negative, sort of twisty way.
Well, what it seems to be like, what seems to be happening is that they're portraying John as forcing God onto people, or using his God to justify putting down non-believers. So in fact, I don't know. Should we have a look at the?
Yes, I've got the lyrics up. I can have the lyrics.
Yeah,
up.
But I wonder if you want to have a look at the original.
I won't be able to find the lyrics without tanking the stream, because if I
open
another window, I could get the lyrics of this one up, and it's already struggling.
Okay, that's fine. So the original. Who did the original? Who was it by?
It's flipped around. Let's.
John Revelator. Oh, was it Blind Johnson? Was it?
No, he covered it.
I see. Okay, well, so yeah, so it's a song. The lyric, basically, the lyric that they've taken and bounced off of is, "Who's that writing? John the Revelator wrote the book of the seven seals." And it's effectively it's just a story about it's a story about John the Revelator. The Depeche Mode version is effectively, it would be like somebody who just fucking, a real cynic who really doesn't like anything. Someone like me.
Yeah.
Would
I was hoping you were going to say that. Because I sure as fuck wasn't going to. I had your back. I had your back, friendo.
But yeah, so it's like it's effectively, it's what someone like me, a cynical asshole, would say. Looking at St. John. So I'll just read through the first couple of verses.
Yeah, I've got them here. That's fine.
John the Revelator, put him in an elevator, take him up to the high, take him up to the top where the mountains stop, let him tell his book of lies. And then it's John the Revelator, who's a smooth operator. It's time we cut him down to size, take him by the hand, put him on the stand, let us hear his alibis. Sum it up?
I just heard what sounded like an explosion.
That's
Give me 1 sec.
Sure. Oh dear. Well, it's just you and me. Let's do some submission music. Pick a key. Don't pick a key. I won't be able to play it. Let's see. We know Neutral Milk Hotel. Meg, you'll know Neutral Milk Hotel. Is Meg here? Ah. About to do some Neutral Milk Hotel.
Oh, what a
explode?
shame. No, it could have been just like construction work. Just happened to be loud construction work. I didn't see any evidence of explosion.
Cool, sweet. Effectively, the pre-chorus here, I think is the most important bit, and it's once. By claiming God as his holy right, he's stealing God from the Israelite, stealing God from the Muslim too. There is only one God through and through. And then what I think is really cool is that they talk about sevens.
Yeah, so seven's a holy number.
Magical number. Yeah.
A lot of so the most famous reference to 7 being somebody thinking that they're being clever. They are actually being quite clever. Asks Jesus, if my neighbor sins me, how many times should I forgive him, or should I forgive him, or something? And Jesus says, how many times should I forgive him? 7 times. And Jesus says, you should probably forgive him 70 times 7 times. I'm paraphrasing it. I'm making a mess of it.
Well, so this.
Yeah.
Oh, carry on. Sorry.
No. Carry on.
Well, I was going to say. So Jesus said 7 times 7.
70 times 7.
70 times 7.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Well, the lyric in the. I guess this is another pre-chorus, unless it's part of the same.
According to the lyrics, according to Genius lyrics, it's the chorus.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So the lyric is 7 lies. Sorry.
I said there's just not another verse.
Sure.
It goes from chorus to chorus.
So the lyric is 7 lies multiplied by 7 multiplied by 7 again. 7 angels with 7 trumpets, send them home on the morning train. And then it's, who's that shouting? John the Revelator. All he ever gives is pain. He should bow his head in shame. Which, really cool. Like the whole 7 lies. But it's not just 7 lies. 7 times 7 lies. But it's not just 7 times 7 lies. It's 7 times 7 times 7 lies. You know?
Yeah.
This guy's absolutely chocked full of shit.
Yeah, it's a really interesting lyric because like 7 is supposed to be like I said, the holy number, or a holy number, and in the same way that 666 is supposed to be the number of the devil, 777 is supposed to be the number of God, which is it's a weird way of doing it.
I think it's just people just making shit up.
Yeah.
Especially since the number of the devil isn't 666.
No, it's 616, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so this I sort of saw as like what was I think like kind of the ultimate sort of sneery dickhead thing that you'd say. It's like, oh, all sevens, Book of the 7 Seals, 7 lies, 7 times 7 lies, 70 times 7 lies. You know?
Yep.
And the whole thing, John the Revelator, shut your fucking face and bow your head.
Shut your pie hole, mate.
There's no pancake mix in there.
There's no pancake mix.
You ain't got no pancake mix.
Oh, how much have we dated ourselves? Probably because nobody probably like if we did a Vine,
No, maybe not.
that would be one thing. But we did a old ass YouTube video, so it's so old it's cool again. If we were like,
just
you made me
podcast.
drop my croissant, that would be.
I love it. I couldn't drop my croissant. Stop.
So yeah, that's also the second chorus. Well, okay, yep. Just checking forward in the lyrics.
But yeah, like it just really for a song, it's so obvious what it's about, man. And
Yeah.
go on.
Well, I was just gonna say I went on a bit of a negative, positive journey with this song, and so I've got so many notes. I'm sorry, mate.
Ooh.
There's gonna be a little bit of me being nitpicky, and there's gonna be a little bit being praising the song as well. So the track was released in 2005, and it still sounds 80s as hell, yo.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, and it wasn't until the 2010s that the retrospective nostalgia for the 80s happened. And Depeche Mode are the sort of band that I imagine started as like a traditional 3-piece band in their parents' garage. And then as soon as they got their hands on a synth, they just got obsessed. Absolutely obsessed with synths.
They just never let it go.
Exactly. And they just learned how to do everything on it, but never kept up with how synths have changed over the years. And now it's too late, and there's too much to catch up on to modernize their sound.
Oh, it's too late. MIDI's been invented.
Do you know what it's? No. You plug it in here? No. It doesn't. It's not all in one, is it? However, you can absolutely see it like a progression to the more modern styles of songwriting. So where you like use fewer chords and keys to do the same amount of like musical heavy lifting that you had in the 80s. And I think like for a while, I could imagine for a while that synths kind of hurt the reputation of musicians who use them because like maybe it felt almost like being lazy, or so you'd use more complex chords and progressions and tonal changes to say, hey, I'm not a hack. I know what the fuck I'm doing. I am a fucking musician just because I'm letting a lot of stuff do a lot of heavy lifting for me, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, so what I was in fact the music, the synthiness and the drums were the main reason that it's stuck out to me so much. But really, it's not even that. It's because I've been keeping an ear out for songs that I might want to try, like live looping. And
this would be perfect for that.
Yeah, absolutely perfect. And it's such, and the lyrics as well.
Yeah,
like wicked. I don't like, and it's not even about fuck you, Christianity. It's just these lyrics are good, man.
I started off not liking the lyrics. Now that we've gone into the lyrics together, I have a better appreciation for them because I am one of those dickheads that don't really pay much attention to the lyrics. I sort of half hear phrases and then make assumptions about the lyrics. I am that guy.
I guess a lot of people do that.
Yeah, like I didn't like the lyrics for the track, but I did love the musicianship and how simple yet effective it is. Like there's not a lot going on. It is catchy, and I would say it doesn't necessarily need to be a lot. But like the drums and the EQ changes in the first verse are doing a lot to keep me interested. And the harmony on John the Revelator is just really fun.
So nice.
It's cool, isn't it? Like it's simple. It's not trying to be anything. It's not. It's just a fun 80s pop harmony, and it's perfectly placed. The dissonant change halfway through the song is like it's very surprising. It's very jarring, and it is a shame that not more is done with it. Like I found
like a solo of some kind.
Well, I was thinking of like you could have used it to modulate to another part of the song, to something different from the rest of the song. But it feels like it's literally just being used to make sure we don't get bored as a listener, because like it's the equivalent of a big bowl of chips with a side of sauce. Like chips are great, they're comforting and you know what you're getting, and they're crispy and they're fluffy, and like but you absolutely are at some point going to want to dip a chip in the sauce because otherwise you aren't going to be finishing that shit. You know?
Yeah, yeah. That's a
Um,
good analogy.
but then like it does go back to the status quo, and we end up with the same sort of thing it starts on. However, I did go back and I listened again, not for like a double take of I can't believe that shit. It despite what I said, it's god damn, it's an addictive track.
Nice,
It's an
man.
addictive track. It's good. I like it, and I could listen to it loads of times. And I realised after the second or third listening of it, it's almost an exercise in intelligent laziness. So it's a copy and paste track where the same thing happens over and over again. You begin and end the track with something different. So like then you have another different thing in the middle of it, and then you sprinkle some fun things around. So in fact, maybe the chips analogy is actually an incorrect analogy. It's more like nachos. So like every bite is exactly the same thing, but occasionally you get some spice, some creaminess, some zing, and that's enough to keep you wanting to go back for more of what is actually just very boring corn tortilla chips. No, this is a really good track, and an excellent addition to the playlist.
Well,
Mm.
what a shining review.
Mm.
So you can read you can listen to those on the playlist. But now I think, Lawrence, we've got something less favourable.
Yeah, so there's a sort of flip of this section. So songs that we can't get enough of to songs that didn't get enough love,
Which we don't really do.
We don't do often, but I'm trying to do it more because I think it's valuable to for us to peg our musical hooks on something and to say, look, this song's great and this song needs some work, and here's what I would do as a musician. I think it's good for us to, as an exercise, to sort of verbally talk through and discuss improvements that we could make, because it's all fine to shit on a song, but if you're gonna shit on it, you got to say how you're going to improve it. Yeah, why and what you would do differently, because it might be that what you do differently would be fucking worse, you dickhead. So Anberlin released. Can I first off say I'm a fan. I am a fan of Anberlin. Yes, the lead singer's weird looking. Okay, we get it. Yes,
We are talking about Anberlin the band, not Anne Boleyn, the long deceased wife of Henry VIII.
Can you imagine? And
I love Anberlin.
I love Anberlin. She's my favourite beheaded lady. I can't remember if she's beheaded. I don't pay that much attention. I get to the point where he's like, let's separate church and state. And I'm like, that's a really good idea, and that's all I care about.
Well done, Henry.
Well done, Mr. Eighth. So yeah, I'm a fan of Anberlin. Yeah, they use do as a lyric way too much. But I can get behind their music. I think that some of their, not necessarily some of their albums, but some of their songs pack a massive punch, and I like them. And I don't necessarily. Maybe I think that sometimes they would do better having a different singer. But as a band, I can get behind them, and I think they're fine. This song, however, this song has disappeared, and I thought it was a new release. Turns out it's not. Turns out it sounds like it's a live recording of one of their streamed gigs. Now, a lot of bands in lockdown have been doing various iterations of streamed gigs. My favourite so far has been the Hives, who literally would play a set at the same time local time, just moving the local time around the world. So they were doing a world tour. But if you got tickets to see them, it would be at your country's local time. So that was really cool. And what Anberlin have been doing is they've been doing the sort of, I think this is very much localized to like Florida bands, because Under Oath, who's from Tampa, Florida, and Anberlin, who are from Tampa, Florida, did exactly the same thing, where they just took one of their old albums and did a live replay of it. and this must be from that. However, oh boy, the mixing is fucking awful. Like,
I think it's just that the whole thing is a bit lackluster.
it's
You know,
I don't know what went wrong. I don't know what went wrong. Like they've always had, like, don't get me wrong, they've always had questionable mixing when it comes to their albums. Like they make some decisions that I would have made 6 months ago. But I'm 6 months older now, and they have a lot more experience than me, so I don't know why they're making those decisions. But like so from a mixing point of view, the drums are the only thing you can hear. Like, it's just drums, and they are almost distorted. That's how loud they are. They sound like they're almost clipping. It does sound like they've had to put a limiter on the drums just to stop them from doing it. And that limiter has not done them any favors. So I don't know whether it's to do with the mic placement, because when you're doing a live, because essentially you're doing live recording, but for a not live track, or the other way around. I can't remember what it is. It's a weird process.
So, yeah, it is weird. So I think what they're saying live, as in, we get one take and we're all playing together.
Yes.
But still is recorded so that it can be edited and sent out later, right?
Yes, yes. So you're recording all individually. Like the drums would be just overheads and the mics in various drums. The guitar is recorded separately. Like, maybe there was just too much bleed. Maybe they just picked the wrong space to record it in, and this is the result of it. But it feels like
that should be something that the audio engineer already knows how to deal with.
Yeah, like it sounds almost like they got a producer or a studio technician who had never done live music before to do something which he thought was going to be a studio thing but turned out to be a live thing. I don't know. This is one of those situations where, like, going to a plane analogy again, a plane does not fall out of the sky because one thing goes wrong. A plane falls out of the sky because lots of things in sequence go wrong. And I think this is one of those situations.
Yeah.
But you can't even hear the lyrics. You don't know what's being sung. You can barely hear the rhythm guitar. The bass is just overwhelmed by the drums. It hurts to listen to. Like, literally, it hurts my head and ears to listen to it. I have to turn it down, which is weird because I can normally cope with quite loud sounds. Although I am absolutely if I start gigging, I'm gonna have to wear earplugs because I can't be dealing with that shit. Have you seen Sound of Metal?
Sound of Metal? No.
It's I think it's on Netflix. Or on Amazon. I can't remember, but it's a movie about a metal drummer played by Riz Ahmed, better known as the villain from Venom, or can't think of any others. But it's about a heavy metal drummer who loses his hearing, and it's about the journey he goes on how that affects him as a human being to lose his hearing. It's not about how it affects him losing the ability to drum. It's about how it affects his life and his search for his hearing. I haven't watched it, but I've watched like a breakdown of it, and I've watched it. Won an Oscar for a sound design because they use really, 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 really intuitive and interesting techniques to record the sound in the movie to make it as close to experiencing deafness for the listener as possible. It's really, really interesting. But that's I'm worried that this track is going to cause me to go deaf.
Well,
so tea in my eye.
Well, so Paper Tigers, the album was just New Surrender.
Okay.
So it's just that album.
I find it weird that they've renamed their albums for the live version. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, possibly Paper Tigers is the name of the show, and their set list in that show was just the set list for New Surrender.
Yeah, I can
That's
understand
how they
it.
get around it.
I can understand it. Like, but I still don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's a bit. I think it's effectively re-releasing an album.
Yeah.
Just because this is the way that you can make money right now.
And don't get me wrong, I'm okay with the idea of re-releasing a live version of an album. I think that's fine. I don't think I have an issue with anything that they're doing as a band. It's just the recording techniques for this I'm questioning.
Well, I never. Yeah, the thing is, Anberlin is one of those bands that I know a lot of.
Yeah.
Just because I dated someone who loved them, and I've heard all of their songs to my knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and for the most part, they're just sort of fine. But there is the occasional, like there are bits in a song that you listen to every now and then where there's just something nice in there. Like it's like one harmony or one little like break of silence that lasts for a beat but is in just the right place and shit.
Yeah.
There, like Anberlin has got a couple of things like that that I just really love. And so there are these songs that are like, what's it called? We're on the same side in the same war.
Oh, I'm less au fait with Anberlin than you are, because I listened to their old stuff, and I listened to Blueprints for Future Homes is Norma Jean. Don't Never Make Friendship Personal, that album, and Cities and Dark as the Way, Light as the Place, and that's kind of where I dropped off, because Cities was a great album. It was way overproduced though, and I still love it as an album. But I can appreciate the fact that it is an overproduced album. It is very difficult to recreate that sound live. So you have more of an experience there. But
anyway,
I think
just
what you're singing.
I was going to say, if you knew the song, then
I think it's from Dark as the Way, Light as the Place. But yeah.
Okay. But, yeah. Well, either way, it's just they've got this odd little bit in their songs that I'm just like, But for the most part, I feel like they're all right.
Yeah.
I don't go nuts for them. Mr. Magic Monkey Man.
Oh, I just replied to it. Carry on. Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to read it then.
Yeah, go for it.
Techniques in a live recording are far from the same as studio recording. Yeah, even if the band plays together in a studio, the room is meticulously treated, whereas at a live show, each venue has its nuances from one another. Yep. You have the crowd to contend with, even if they're silent, subtle movements of breathing and individual electromagnetic field. I hadn't thought about that before. Generated by a human body, builds up within a large crowd. And well, there's also the fact that I think we were talking about this before, like human beings, the human body has a very, very good absorption coefficient. It absorbs sound very, very well. All this is picked up, meaning you have to drastically rethink the way you operate from your studio experience. Maybe their producer was a pro in the studio, but a noob at live recording. Yeah, like exactly. Yeah. Exactly what you said, Lawrence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's good insight. I hadn't thought about
electromagnetic fields. Yeah, because whenever one thing I notice is that I work in a pub, and I notice that when there's a big football game on, I cannot get phone signal. Despite the fact there's loads of people out there, all with phones, I should be able to carry a signal off of their phones. But there's so many people out there that I just can't. I can't even get a Wi-Fi signal, let alone a phone signal. So yeah, that's absolutely really, really good observation. Okay, so those are the songs we couldn't get enough of, and songs that didn't get enough love. Just a reminder that there is a playlist on Spotify where you can listen to all the previous songs as well as the ones we talked about today. Really good listen, really interesting listen. I think that I know that one thing that I've definitely trying to do with this playlist now that I know it's out there, I'm trying to get some more mainstream stuff on it, because one thing that I was very aware of is that when we started the playlist, it was very niche things, stuff that we hadn't really heard of, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. But I don't want people to feel like we're just being hoity-toity and be like,
listen to the music that I like.
Oh, listen,
quite right. I heard something the other day Do
Yes.
you know what I mean when I
Mm,
say
mm, yeah.
Justin Bieber?
Ooh, why is this? Is this quiet, 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 quiet? And have you heard the indubitable stylings of the Coldplay?
Oh, musical crumpets are the Coldplay.
Oh, that's a clip. Um, so okay, so moving on to the final part of the show, which is the Wheel of Conversation. So let me
Hey,
get.
have you changed the lyrics?
No, I haven't.
That's fine.
Why?
Well, because you said that every time I'd learn the lyric,
Yeah, I did say that. I can't remember why I didn't. I think it's because I just didn't.
last 5 seconds, and it is pretty easy to remember. It's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, maybe
You
it
just
was
have to
more.
write a rap.
Maybe it was just the joke was more me thinking, you thinking that there was going to be a change of lyrics. So whenever we started, you'd just be a little bit unsure.
Oh, I'd just be panicked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool. That's cool. I shouldn't have
Um.
asked with the panic.
So this is the Wheel of Conversation. It is full of some dumb and some interesting and some unrelated music questions that I have thought of during the previous weeks. Some stuff that I just had random thoughts, and I'm like, I don't know the answer to that, and I don't really want to
Random
look it up.
thoughts like, if I was presented with 6 different musical artists and had shag one, marry the other, and kill the other,
Oh,
while the
that reminds me, I need to generate some artists just in case that comes up. So everyone's gonna see the inner workings of what's going on right now, and the stream might tank. So before we do anything, random bands of musicians, get that going right now. I literally I go to randomlists.com, random music quantity 8. Although I've started to realize it keeps bringing up keeps bringing up the same ones that we've had recently. So I'm going to rerun it. Let's see what it does. No, I don't want to click on Billie Eilish. Fuck off. Okay. Yeah, this works. Okay, cool. Oh no, we've had a lot of these. It's random bands. I've generated 8 now, so just in case it's all right. So I guess it's time to spin the wheel of conversation. Where is it going to land on? Spin the wheel of conversation. Behold the power of random. Okay. So the instrument. The question we have today is, what is the coolest instrument?
the coolest instrument.
The coolest instrument. Like, guitars are pretty cool, but it's like, what if we were to do a tiered system of how cool you are based on the instrument that you play? Is there a tier system? Is there a coolest instrument? If there is, what would it be?
So hard. Like a
theremin
all right.
is a cool instrument, but the people who play it, inevitably not cool people. So that's a cool instrument, but it doesn't have a coolness coefficient. Not coefficient. You know what I mean?
Correlation.
That's the one. Thank you.
I've been thinking about possibly looking into making a theremin.
I would love you to make a theremin for a very, very simple reason. I want to record the sound of a theremin turning off and use it in a track.
The sound of a theremin turning off.
Yeah, it sounds so sick. And I can't find any recordings of it anywhere.
Have you heard a theremin being turned off before?
Yeah, Matt,
an analog theremin.
An analog theremin, yeah. So Matt, our tutor for university, he showed, like, he had a sound. I can't remember where he got it from, but the sound of a theremin turning off is so cool. Speaking of like Foley artistry, I recorded something to use in the album. Do you know the swivel bridge that's near me?
The swivel bridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So for the first time ever since I've lived here, I was witness to the bridge being like swiveled.
You're not talking about Prince Street Bridge.
Yeah.
You've seen that happen
Never
before.
seen that happen.
I used to work next to it, to be fair. So
yeah, you've seen it quite a lot.
I've seen it.
But I saw it for the first time the other day, and when it closes, the sound is incredible. So I recorded the sound, and I'm gonna use it. I can't.
Yep.
I might need to record it again because it was a windy day and some people were talking, and I can't EQ out all the stuff that I want to EQ out. But I might have to record it again.
I got a recording a few years ago, which I accidentally deleted, which I feel stupid for.
Now you are.
Huh?
Only now you are because I want it. But
Well, ooh, want to become famous?
yeah, boy. Click that link. Don't click the link. If you're in the chat, don't click the link. If you could just get rid of that, please. Thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to do it unless I've got them settings.
Okay,
up.
I'll do it. It's alright. I'll do it. Cool. Davey504, by the way. Yes, excellent bass player. It is time to play bass.
It's not bass.
No, that is
Slap the lightning.
36.
But he
bass. Nice.
is this guy.
It's alright, buddy. I'll do it.
What are you saying? Freak at me. I still have the bruises from when Dave does it. He does slap.
That
So we're talking about, huh?
Plectrum is cheating.
Yeah.
Plectrum isn't cheating. I think that Plectrum sounds better than playing with your fingers.
Depends what you're playing, I guess.
It also depends on how well you can play with your fingers, and I can't play very well with my fingers, so I have to use Plectrum.
You can get like fuzzy felt.
I've got one.
You've got.
Oh, it's covered in felt and fuzz. Yeah, I've it's been on my
Felt.
floor for ages, but I've got one. There it is. So thick.
It's just extra Plectrumy now.
Oh god, it's so thick.
What were we talking about?
What's the coolest instrument?
Yeah. Coolest instrument. So, well, as far as the theremin, getting a sound of a theremin turning off, Matt would have been referring to an analog theremin, whereas the theremin that, if I were to make a theremin, would probably be out of a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino.
You hack.
Yeah. They cost like 600 quid, man.
He only means it's a joke. Yeah, we also know it's a joke. Yeah. I'm in on the joke.
Anybody who doesn't realize that is probably just doesn't watch his videos. Like,
I think anybody who actually thinks that playing bass with the plectrum is cheating needs to. Well, yeah,
not a good position.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's the same as the absolute numbers thing, right?
Yes.
Like you can't. All right, you can play it whatever way you want, but you can't tell me that I have to play it like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cheating. Not bass. I wish I could just call up the reverb whenever I needed to.
That's a really good impression of him, by the way.
Oh,
like it's uncanny, man. It's uncanny. Yeah, coolest instrument, flute. It's not the saxophone.
Well,
flute, maybe. I don't know. Jazz flute.
You know,
it depends how you play it.
I think I want to give this answer, but it's a bit of a dickhead cop-out answer, and I'm not sure this is necessarily the coolest instrument. But the human body.
You fuck. Fuck off. Yeah, carry on.
Well, so firstly, like, you can, like, the sounds you can make with your body are not just limited to your mouth, right?
Killed Carl.
Man.
Killed Carl. Sorry, dude.
But like, so like, I am constantly drumming on myself. I'm clicking my fingers. I'm Like, I use my bones clicking when I'm beatboxing sometimes. Just I know that I need to click something. I'll do it on the beat. With the armpit farts. Who said anything about armpits?
Oh God.
But yeah, like even just if you can consider like how many different noises you can make just tapping yourself in different places, and like the fact that you can generate tube percussion like that, just by hammering on your head and opening your mouth, you know, like and then on top of that, there's everything that you can do with your voice. Like your voice gives you more control and more dynamic range than I think almost any instrument that is separate from your body, right? Because if you know exactly how loud you want to be, then you can sing exactly loud.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like anything. If you learn to use it, then it's hugely powerful. Like somebody who's been practicing singing, making music with their body for years and years and years is automatically going to have a better understanding of their instrument than, you know, somebody who's naturally good at singing or naturally good at tapping on themselves or whatever hasn't put the time into learning just like how diverse it is. Because I think it's the same with anything. Like there's always how complicated something looks and then how complicated it actually is once you start learning about it. You know, so like you can say that being a producer is just pressing a few buttons and letting the computer put it in the right key for you and do all the time.
You'd be wrong, but you could say that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, exactly. You could say that, but if you were to start learning to produce music, you would really quickly realize that a DAW is a really massively powerful tool, and that, you know, you could study this for years and scratch the surface of what it's capable of. And yeah, like the voice can be used to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It can also be using operas. You know, be used to sing polyphonically if you know how to do it.
Yeah.
If you put time into learning your craft. So I think certainly is one of those diverse instruments.
Yeah. I got two answers.
Okay.
One, kind of self-indulgent. Two, the second one is I've just thought of this just now, and it's so I'll go with the second one first because I love confusing things. The bass, that's the bass/bass guitar that Jason Janik has.
Oh, the bass six.
The bass six. Oh, what an incredible instrument! Like I think that's just insane as an instrument. So yeah, I'm gonna say that or harmonica if you can play harmonica really well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So okay, I think then, what would you say is cool in an instrument?
I would say coolness would say okay. So either
Yes, sorry, just a sec. Mr. Magic Monkey Man. Yes, the armpit farts are a noise you make with your body, but it's not the only type of fart I can make with my body. That's why I said we weren't talking about armpits.
Okay. I was so okay.
Talking about my hands.
So I'd say that an instrument is cool either because of some of the interesting stuff that it does, or because of, like the Fonz, how little effort it puts into being great. So the bass six is cool because it's a bass and a guitar at the same time. I no wish to comment. Okay. Because it's a bass and it's a guitar at the same time. It's just really cool. Cool idea. Harmonica, you don't have to carry around any big anything. You can have it in your pocket. You can whip it out. Wait, calm down, Lawrence. You can just
It doesn't have to be a big thing. You keep it in your pocket. You whip it out whenever you want.
You blow or suck depending on what your technique is. Do you ever read the Disney Vacation subreddit?
No.
It's basically where people take WikiHow pictures and recaption them.
Oh yeah, recontextualize them or something.
I did one of those, and I was looking up how to play harmonica, and it was just this dude who was holding just a grey oblong into his mouth, and I recaptioned it as how to give your rubber boyfriend a blowjob. I think harmonica, if you can play it well, it's appropriate for a lot of situations. Not every situation, but a lot of situations. And it's tuned, which is great, and it has a very, very specific sound. It's an iconic sound. It's portable, very portable, and I don't know. It's just something very cool about harmonica. Bob Dylan played one. Bob Dylan's cool as fuck. Well, I don't know, man. Chuck Reagan plays one. Chuck Reagan's cool as fuck, even though all he does is fish now.
Anybody who plays a harmonica is cool as fuck. You know, I heard Stalin played the harmonica.
Cool as fuck. If I could, if I could, maybe a kazoo is cooler than a harmonica because it's not limited to key.
Yeah,
and has a similar sound.
Well, this is it.
Except if I had two kazoos at the same time, and I could offset each note by a third, that would be a harmonica sound.
Yeah. Well, if you had a melodica, that would be a harmonica sound that you could control.
So you're cool. You have a melodica.
But this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Because I spoke to you not long after I got this melodica, and it's really cool. I think it's one of the most diverse instruments. And you said, "Oh, really? Do elaborate." And I pointed out that it is this big. That is a keyboard. That is more keys than you've got on your MIDI keyboard.
Yep.
It is polyphonic or monophonic. It is a harmonica to activate individual reeds. And it's like it needs the expression that you can have with this is just limited to how soft or hard you can blow into it. And so I think this is really,
I guess, yeah, and also both
it allows you just to make music, man.
Both this and your melodica are the size of our respective penises as well, so
I haven't got so much white on mine.
Also, it's hard to look cool playing a melodica though.
I mean,
whereas this pose makes me look like I'm a cool guy. It makes me look like I'm just I'm a drifter. I'm a homeless man in the swamp.
I'm a bad boy.
I'm a bad boy.
Bunking off at work.
I'm bunking off.
Stealing property lad DVDs.
Maybe we won't get to the bottom of this, but as far as you're concerned, the coolest instrument is probably your melodica.
Well, probably the coolest. I don't know. Even an instrument's own, man.
Have you got a banjo? I'd like a banjo.
I haven't got a banjo. I've got a mandolin. You can make a guitar sound like a banjo.
We found
by inflating a balloon behind the sound hole.
I've heard that, and I also heard that a lot of banjo players disagree, but
I'm sure a lot of banjo players do disagree.
Yeah, a lot of balloonists, however, agree. A lot of clowns agree. A lot of clowns agree. A lot of banjo players disagree.
You know, across a balloon poodle that I made sounded exactly like a banjo.
No, it'd be the other way around. I'd stretch guitar strings across a real poodle, and it sounded like a balloon popping. Okay. I think we can leave that question now. Right, let's go for another one. We got time. We got
Do
time.
another one. Yeah.
Okay, so spin the wheel of conversation. What is it going to land on? Spin the wheel of conversation. Behold the power of random. Oh yes. Okay, so we are going to use the eights. It's the variation. Right performed, judged harshly after too many tequilas. This is the same one we did last week. But this time the artists are Foo Fighters. I'm going to write this down because I'm going to have to close the screen in a minute. So, Foo Fighters. Harry Gregson Williams, who is the composer for Shrek.
Oh.
Miles Davis.
Oh.
Elton John. J. Cole. That's spelled J. Cole, C-O-L-E. Casey Musgraves. Billie Eilish again. Billie Eilish is in every single one of these. Yeah. The Brits is rigged. And Cheap Trick.
Okay.
J. Cole is a
J. Cole.
very good rapper.
Okay. Who is
Female singer-songwriter. Also pretty good.
okay. And who is Cheap Trick?
Cheap Trick did Surrender. That Mommy's alright, Daddy's alright. They just seem a little weird. Surrender.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, yeah.
Away.
And so our choice is perform a song by them.
So you get to write a song for them. They get to perform one of your songs. Sorry. What was it again?
Perform, judge harshly after too many tequilas. So
write. You write a song. They write a song for you. They perform one of your songs, or they judge you harshly after having too many tequilas, and anyone who's not involved gets to watch.
Okay. So who do I want to write a song for me?
I think if I would like Billie Eilish to write a song for me.
See, I don't like Billie Eilish's lyrics. The production is great. Don't like.
I think I gave the same answer last time we did this because Billie Eilish came up last time as well. But I think that Billie Eilish and my style go well together nicely because I do the sort of self-deprecating, slightly folky but mostly emo rock, questioning stuff. Lyrics. I think that her lyrics could go well with my style. So I think I'm going to pick Billie Eilish to write.
What was the second one? Harry something Williams?
Harry Gregson Williams.
Which one's he?
He wrote the Shrek music.
Yeah, you said so. Okay. You have Billie Eilish writing a song for you.
I think I'd like to have Elton John covering one of my songs.
Yeah?
Because then you know you'd made it, man. If Elton John covers one of your songs, you fucking made it.
Which song?
Which song? I think Elton John would probably do well at covering The Great Arcade. Which is the one that I wrote about my dad and my fear of death. Just because it's got the best lyrics in, and I think that if I want Elton John to cover one of my songs, it's got to be the one with the best lyrics.
You know what? I would like to see Foo Fighters cover one of your songs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Someone posted a Facebook post the other day of what is the most overrated band, and someone said Foo Fighters. I'm like, I think they're rated just about right. I think maybe in the noughties they were overrated, but now
Yeah.
they've fallen off popularity enough. I would still say the most overrated band is the Beatles. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on. I went off topic there. Foo
All right.
Fighters performing one of my songs would be really interesting because can you imagine just that screechy, especially if it was something like Meant to Be the Sun, where it's just that hard. You're meant to know the gospel. You're meant to be the sun. That would
You can see Grohl with his scrunched face singing it as well.
Yeah. I think that'd be awesome. But I think that if Elton John were to, I think if Foo Fighters were to cover my song, then the same reason I gave last time, it would be Foo Fighters covering another person's song. It'd be Foo Fighters' version. But if Elton John were to cover one of my songs, I think it would be a homage. It would be like, you've done this song is so good that I would like to rewrite this song.
Well, okay. You know what? I think just because you told me that J. Cole is a rapper, sorry.
Yep.
I feel like I want him to write a song for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I want him to write a song for me, which I could then rap musically.
Well, I think J. Cole is one of those musicians that I think you would pair well with. Like, if you ever got a shot at a collaboration with J. Cole, you guys would do well together.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sweet. What?
It's just your sensibilities. Like, he's very sort of anti a lot of stuff, but you're like questioning stuff, and you like to do sort of an odd narrative. And I think that you two together questioning stuff and you doing your interesting narratives, like doing a back and forth between the two of you sharing verses, would be really cool.
That'd be cool. Nice. I'll have to check out J. Cole. In fact, I'm just gonna, every time we do one of these things, I'm just gonna make a point of listening to a song from each of them.
Yeah.
This is, I realize something, that I spend a lot of time listening to music, loads of time listening to music. But most of the time, I'm either singing to it, or I'm beatboxing, or I'm drumming something. And I've realized that I need to spend more time just shutting the fuck up and listening to music. Like, I need to have more actual listening sessions. Because I'm like hearing songs when I get too tired to sing or whatever. I'm sitting there listening to songs that I know, and I'm hearing, new stuff that after I learned the lyrics, I was just singing over the top of, and I didn't actually get to know the music properly. So, yeah, that's just something I realized about myself last week, and I was like, oh, we have to do something about that.
Yeah, I've found that I have to, like, so I recently I've been trying really hard to sort of get out of my comfort zone when it comes to music. So last week I put on an emo rap playlist, and I fucked with that for a little bit, and some of it was fucking awful, but some of it was really good, and I wouldn't have heard it otherwise.
Yeah, and there's like something you can take away from every bit of music, I think.
Like Juice WRLD, I understand why they want to go into his back catalogue and pull out some of his music and try and re-release it, because actually really good musician. Yeah. Some of his stuff is shit. But there's enough good stuff to be like, right, what other gems are in his back catalogue?
Yeah. Well, you know what? If some of someone's stuff is shit, but a lot of the stuff you listen to you like, it like, surely they have probably written more shit songs than good songs. So the fact that you're listening to an album full of pretty good songs means probably a good couple of albums worth of shit that came along with it. But which is again the idea of only showing the shiny stuff of what you do.
Which is why I don't like Weezer. Just yeah.
Oh, what was I going to say?
I'd have Harry Gregson Williams judge harshly after too many tequilas, because I think having written the music for Shrek, like I could just be like, I don't care too much about the sort of music that you make, but you're good enough that I would have to listen to it a little bit.
It is exactly that was for the reasons I was going to say things. Yeah.
Yep.
So just somebody who knows how to write for music for film. It's absolutely got some in their bow.
We absolutely have time for one more if you want to.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yep. Yep, that was it.
That's right. Yeah.
Spin that shit, DJ. Oh, DJ, spin that shit. Spin the wheel of conversation. What is it going to land on? Spin the wheel of conversation. Behold the power of random. That's the same one again, so let's try again. Spin the wheel of conversation. What is it going to land on? Spin the wheel of conversation. Behold the power of random. Oh, that's literally just Shag, Marry, Kill again. Spin the wheel of conversation. What is it going to land on? Spin the wheel of conversation. Cool. Okay. Discussion. Should there be an age restriction on releasing music? So should there be an age where, like, if you're below this age, you're not allowed to, like, release your own music, but if you're over this age, you are?
Interesting.
So the reason why
what made you think?
Well, it was started off with it started off with our discussion about how people are sort of fucked over in the industry. It's now got to a point where if you enter into a deal, you are being fucked over in some way. It's just not obvious at this point. Should we allow kids, essentially, to be exposed to that?
Well, I think you hope that if there is a child artist, that they have a representation, not their mum, but somebody who is versed in legal matters and like contracts, that is on their side. Because like, even if you presented me, a 30-year-old man, with a contract, there's probably shit in there that, well, there's definitely shit in there that I'm not going to understand. There's probably stuff that I'm going to miss or misinterpret, or, you know, loopholes that I don't notice. Like, even things that aren't said can fuck you over.
Yeah.
You know, oh, we didn't say that we'd do this for you, so we're not going to do it for you. So, like, even as an adult, I would need someone to go through the fucking thing with a fine-tooth comb. And I would hope that it is a requirement for somebody under a certain age to have a competent and educated adult in the room with them for all deals that this person is going to be a part of. I feel like that, if it isn't already, should be legal requirement if you're going to be working with children.
I don't think it's
especially when it comes to contracting.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the legality of it is. It might be that under the age of 18, you do have to have a parent or guardian, and they would at least be clever enough or have their wits about them enough to get some representation. But we can't all afford representation.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if there's a case of, would a lawyer be willing to take a cut of the initial payment? I don't know, but
I guess it must happen.
Mr. Magic Monkey Man says, no, a child shouldn't be screwed over by labels, but it doesn't mean they shouldn't be allowed to release their creations. Instead of teaching them to rely on shady labels, teach them how to freelance, get them online, pushing themselves, hopefully with a reliable team of friends and family alongside them. When they're old enough, they can make their own decisions on whether to sign with someone after extensive research. So
I think
that's a way of going about it. But if a child is offered the opportunity to work with a major label, if they then say no, I'm not going to. I'm going to go by myself. Is that child being denied the opportunity to market themselves correctly because they won't have the same opportunities as they had with releasing a label? It's a massive grey area.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the. I guess it's the same sort of thing though. As is it fair that a kid with rich parents can afford to do things that a kid without rich parents can do?
Yeah.
That kid without rich parents can't afford to do. And it's just sort of, and if you're in that position, I mean, if you're a kid who wants to be a big name, if you're a kid who wants a pony, and you have the opportunity to suddenly have rich parents who will buy you a pony, then that's a choice in itself. Like whether that should be something that a child should be able to decide. Because like when I picked my GCSE options, I wasn't in a position to be making decisions that important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to record labels, I would at least, because you couldn't even say, even if a lawyer sat down with them and said, look, this contract is going to fuck you over. I feel like possibly, now that I think about it, as long as the carrot of pony is dangled over their head, we're Sony, we can make you big.
I think that a lawyer wouldn't just say, hey, it's up to you whether you take this contract, but you're going to get fucked over. I think that a lawyer would just say, we're not taking this. I don't. I think that if you have a lawyer, I think they would just go, no, you're joking. We're not taking this. I think that there's possible. So I'm not entirely sure as to why I had this on the wheel. I'm speculating a little bit, but it could also be the Michael Jackson effect that I'm having.
I was wondering about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that if somebody gets too famous too young, what's the likelihood that they'll get fucked up because of it? And I think again that's also to do with sort of, you got to kind of read the room on that one. Do I think, like, I asked the question, what's my opinion? Do I think that children or the people under a certain age should be allowed to release music? I think that everyone should be allowed to release music. Do I think that those people should be protected? I think that under a certain age, there should be safeguards in place to say that no matter what situation you're in, like if you're under 18, if you're approached with a record label, you should be allowed to have a lawyer without a contract lawyer should be able to be able to represent that child, and that I don't know who would pay for it. That's the issue. Like, how do you regulate this?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Is it does every under the age of 18-year-old have the right to a lawyer in all situations?
You can imagine though.
Yeah, maybe.
You can imagine that there might be some sort of service that, if this is something that starts becoming, a thing that is worth paying attention to, because it's happening, that is, you would hope that from that would come an organization of lawyers who are versed in musical contracts, who make a point of working with young artists, upcoming artists who need help being represented to record labels. And you would hope that they would have something in place whereby they would take a cut. They would take payment after the artists have been paid as a cut for getting them the job.
Just looking to it very briefly, that the musicians union will help with that sort of thing.
Okay.
So you would like the first step would be you're a musician, become part of the musicians union. That's something that I haven't done yet. I need to. So first step, be part of the musicians union if you're a musician, no matter what age you are, and then if that sort of thing like happens, that's the person who will end up being able to help people through the scenario, provide lawyers, etc. Just reading what Mr. Magic Monkey Man says. Possibly, but the child's excitement may cloud their judgment. I can't reveal too much, but later my plan is going to be able to help with access, cheap and access to recording equipment in classrooms. I'll allow anyone to work with me, but my focus will be on the less fortunate, helping them how to become self-sufficient and very confident in their own selves. If the child signs too early, and a lawyer won't help. Even mum and dad may not be able to understand the legal speak enough to protect their child from endless screw-overs. If a lawyer can't help, sure, that may be a solution, but the idea they'll just refuse. I'd want to make sure my child knew his or her options, including alternate routes, and help them learn the dangers and get into an age where they can make an educated decision for themselves. And yes, in hindsight, I also need to look at the musicians union. Yeah, I think that a lot of what we've talked about, like in the chat and between you and I think a lot of that is solved by going through the musicians union. Like I keep forgetting that unions are a thing and they're a powerful thing. Like if you're getting screwed over by your workplace, no matter what your work is, if you're part of a union, that has a tremendous amount of power and can scare lawyers, producers, recording contracts, executives, and even people in the industries that we're working in on a daily basis. Just saying I'm part of a union can scare the fuck out of them. So yeah, so clearly they have power. Okay, well I think that for the most part we've covered a lot of what we're planning on talking about today. Bang on 3 o'clock. Like I don't have to be anywhere this time, so I could go on. I could keep going on, but we have pretty much run the course of the show today. So thank you very much, Theo, for joining me. Do you want to do any shout outs, any plugs?
Yeah. So I'm Theo Dehaney. You can find me at Theo Dehaney Music on Instagram. I will have this evening uploaded a video to YouTube, which will be then followed by a multiple part series. So it's an acoustic song, and I'm making it into a studio version, which I will be documenting and putting onto YouTube. So tune into that.
So what YouTube channel is that?
So that is Theo Dehaney. So just without the music bit.
Yeah.
At the top.
So Theo Dehaney for your YouTube, Theo Dehaney Music for Instagram.
Monkey Man, thank you for coming, bud. I'll try and be here more often. Might set aside the Thursdays for it and move my practice time.
Yeah, it's good to have you here, man. It's interesting to get some comments in the chat. Like we can go with just ourselves. We can go with comments in the chat. We're also figuring out the flow of the show, and some of it might work, some of it might not. So, thank you very much for joining me, dude. My name is Lawrence Hobbs. I am a amateur musician, producer, etc. More of a musician than a producer, to be fair. I'm learning all the production stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, then you can join us live next time on Twitch.tv. We're live right now, right this very second. Yeah, if you're watching us on YouTube, please go to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/oddhobbs, and follow me there, because then you'll get notified when the live show is, and you can join in the conversation live, right, as it's happening, as Mr. Monkey Man has, and DS Composing has as well, and whoever asked us if we want to be famous earlier as well. If you're watching on Twitch, well, you can find old episodes of the show and some old streams of my music creation process on YouTube. If you go to Lawrence Hobbs, then
so it's, if you're on YouTube, you can do all of this. If you're on Twitch, step 1, go to YouTube. Step 2, follow above.
Yeah, it's a circular thing.
Do you want to cook this from frozen? Okay, first defrost it and then cook it from chilled.
Yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, go to my Twitch and follow. If you're watching on Twitch, go to my YouTube and subscribe. That's all I'm saying. If you would like to hear some of my music, then I'm on Spotify, Lawrence Hobbs. I have an EP called Leave Me for Worms, Don't Leave Me for Dead, which is, I get I grow more fond of it the more I listen to it. It's not the best EP in the world, but it does the job.
It's like having an ugly baby.
It's like having an ugly baby that's really good at the fiddle. Like you're like, oh my god, that baby's ugly, but boy, can he play the frickin' fiddle. Webz996, thank you very, very much for the follow, my friend. We are coming to the end of the show, but please join us. I have a feeling that this might be Mr. Tom Webb, and if it is, I'm sorry you caught us at the end of the show. But thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. I hope you have an amazing afternoon, amazing evening, an amazing weekend. And if I don't see you during the week, I will definitely see you next Thursday at midday until 3. And without further ado, go. Oh, I don't have an end screen.
Oh, I'm still going, man.
My end screen's disappeared. Hold on.
Hurry.
Dude, hold on, dude. I need to create the end screen.
Oh, you're like, shut up so I can concentrate.
Yeah, I need to create the end screen. So hold on. You'll see everything go blank, okay? Oh no, there it is. Oh no, I'm in it. There we go. Okay. So let's try that again, shall we? Let's try getting to the end of things again. Let me help. Slap it.
Slap like.
Okay. Right. Without further ado, go.